Good morning to most, good afternoon to others, and good evening to our viewing audience across the pond. My name is Jason Myles, and welcome to another episode of This is Revolution Podcast. If you are a returning listener, subscriber, hell yeah! So glad to have you back. This is going to be a good one. We have probably one of my favorite people to talk pop culture with. There's two people that I love to talk pop culture, especially hip-hop pop culture, and that's Justin Hunte and Bert Cooper. Jason England, too. It's a lot of fun. Justin Hunte, my favorite. As you guys know, this is the Saturday Free Show. We will not be going into the champagne room. We're going to be settling all the beef right here today in the main show. And once it's over, I'll be doing another show with friend of show, Catherine Liu, at 1 p.m. my time, 4 p.m. Eastern time on Montez Press Radio. Going to talk more about the culture industry, the arts. Is there a revolutionary capacity in the arts? It'll be a fun show. She went over a little bit of it with me, so I'm excited for that. It's going to be after this. And also, as you know, there are VIP tickets to the June 8th live event in Washington, D.C. Beyond the Black Jacobin, CLR James and the Struggle for Socialism in America with Adolph Reed, the Pascal Robert, what, Daniel Tutt, C. Derek Varn, and hosted by me, Jason Myles. Now, I know you guys are ready. You're ready for the beef. Let's bring in the voice of reason who'll be refereeing the beef. And just to make it clear, I have no beef with anything Justin Hunte said on this topic. Please welcome the voice of reason on the show. She is M. Toussaint.
Hello. How come I'm not one of your favorite persons to talk to about culture?
I think,
I'm too East Coast.
I'm a douchebag. Forgot to say it. Maybe.
There we go.
You're my favorite person to talk to about everything with because you're kind of my favorite person. So, you know, you can throw Pascal in there too, but sometimes just his culture references stop. Like if it didn't happen after 1996 in hip hop, he doesn't know it existed. Like, you know, Nas had another album after Illmatic. He's like, lies. The devil, you say. I know you have a lot to say about this show. My feelings would have been hurt if you would have said, Jason, I can't do it.
Jason, I can't do it. Too early.
I was afraid you were going to say that as my son called. And I think you saw a little bit of the conversation Phoenix and I had.
Mm-hmm. He's a dinosaur.
He is. And he made some garbage trucks out of Legos. So there's that.
Wow.
He's also very excited that he has a Darth Vader action figure on the way.
Okay.
His first ever action figure. Can you please stop the sounds of hood strife for 5 seconds?
I'm so sorry.
Can you tell New York to stop being New York for just a minute? I'm podcasting over here. Hey.
Blasting R. Kelly over here.
Toussaint came on. She goes, I'm very sorry. They're blasting R. Kelly. And all I can picture is all those videos of New York where someone opens up the window and just blasts music and all the Puerto Ricans are dancing outside. So I'm assuming that's what's happening in your neighborhood. There's just a bunch of Afro-Latinas doing the Watusi. And then some kids have popped open a hydrant.
That's how it goes.
Jill Scott's living her life like it's golden.
Yeah.
Lauryn Hill's walking around on a record, you know. That's not what's going on outside?
There's more unhoused people in there.
Are they allowed to Watusi with the Afro Latinas?
They're jumping up and down on their mattresses.
Poor Justin is like, I didn't know that they were going to hit us with so much racism before I came on.
So much
He's like,
racism.
this is why I don't share this shit on my social media. But all jokes aside, hip hop is in the news. And there's a lot that I think we have to say about this quote unquote feud. The lyrical feud between Kendrick Lamar and Drake holds significant material importance in contemporary hip hop culture, marking a departure from the dynamics of older rap feuds from the 80s and 90s. Unlike the earlier era's beefs, which were often localized and characterized by intense, sometimes violent rivalries, the Kendrick Drake feud reflects the globalized and commercially expansive nature of today's music industry. This modern conflict has captured national attention without the threats of violence hurled at the combatants. The battle underscores the evolution of rap into a dominant cultural force where digital media and social platforms amplify and monetize artists' confrontations on an unprecedented scale. Analyzing this beef offers insights into how hip hop has transformed in terms of production, distribution, and audience engagement, making it emblematic of the genre's contemporary material conditions compared to the foundational beefs that shaped its earlier decades. Please welcome to join us the hip hop journalist, Justin Hunt.
Hey, what up?
Hey, I'm journalism him over here.
Turn down the racism, no. Turn down the racism. Turn down the racism.
Justin's like, I have a wide array of fans, and I can't lose them for you, Negroes.
Right. Word up. Good.
So you've been dropping videos left and right because I don't sleep that much, and I will wake up in the middle of the night or early in the morning, and I'll see you like just dropped a video on this, especially when the stuff was just happening. What makes the Kendrick versus Drake beef so different, in your opinion, from hip hop battles in the past?
I think there's a lot of different things that I'll say stand out to me about this one. One, I like seeing two guys who have been around each other for this long and who've been sub-dissing each other for this long. Like they've basically been subbing each other for a decade. A decade, right? Like Nas and Jay-Z weren't even subbing each other for a decade. Tupac and Biggie subbed each other for like 2 seasons. You know, when you look at the big ones, they've been, a decade. And the clash of styles is so different. I think, contrary to what my recent commentary probably alludes to, I actually think Drake is really talented. I think he's a really great rapper. I just don't think that he uses his powers for good, we'll say, all the time, almost, or anytime, I guess. And on the other side of that, you have, so Drake is known for making huge, global streaming record-breaking songs and, making songs in other people's styles and, genres sometimes. And you have Kendrick, who's basically lived in the Black art space exclusively, and then been able to elevate that to pop levels, pop proportions, which is very difficult to do.
Would you say Kendrick has maxed out that kind of 90s era hip hop in a way the 90s didn't even do?
Interesting. I don't know. Lauryn Hill took it pretty far. Lauryn Hill,
but she sang. Her biggest hits were not lost ones. The biggest hits were, like we were joking, Everything Is Everything. What else is a song from that record? She had like 6 singles from Miseducation.
But even just like sort of that is 51% R&B, I think, 52% R&B. Technically, it's an R&B album. I think that's what it ended up really winning for. It's just barely R&B. But that whole ethos of bringing in just all the different pieces of Black music history coming together in an art form, I think she did a great job of that. Outkast is another one. I think very outcastic in my opinion.
Even spoken word with Outkast.
Oh, 100%.
Those early records, yeah.
Spoken word, just the whole range of things. So where Kendrick takes his influences from, I don't know if I could say he took it places that they hadn't taken it in the 90s. I think what I will say is that hip hop is rap music is a lot bigger than hip hop was in the 90s.
Yes.
Like rap music, not necessarily hip hop, but rap music is a lot bigger. And it's a lot easier for people to enter the chat, so to speak, at this point in time, just with where we are in technology. And so I think that probably since the 90s, he's encapsulated what I think are the best parts of the 90s are and taking it places it hasn't been than anybody else. And there's been other artists to do that, right? Lupe Fiasco's in there, like J. Cole, as boring as I think he is, he represents that.
But are they as large as Kendrick is Coachella large?
Yeah, no, Kendrick has made it to institution levels.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? And so that's what I think is so interesting about this battle. You have, essentially, I've been calling essentially like the biggest pop star possible versus the biggest cultural artists of this era as possible, going head to head in the battle. And both of them are very, very witty, very slick with the tongue. I think Drake's a phenomenal rapper. I think he is, he had a reputation for being a ferocious opponent in battle. That started to look more like an outlier. Meek Mill started to look like an outlier now. He had that reputation. And just the magnitude of their brands brought all the eyes in the world on it. So I think that is one of the reasons why it's super important to see. I wasn't sure what angle Kendrick was going to come with in this battle, but the more I study this and research this, because this really is a cultural moment. Like this is just, in my opinion, is the biggest battle ever, just because of the elements at play, the timing, the scale of the artist at this point in time, and the conversations that came out of it. But I at this point now, I think Kendrick had like 9 different directions he could go, depending on whatever Drake did. So in that sense, I don't want to say that they're both at peak powers. I think Drake's been really comfortable for a long time. I think Drake's been very comfortable since Scorpion, at least. And I think part of the reason Scorpion was as big as it was because Kendrick Lamar's Damn was so big right before it, and in that regard, I think both of them push each other in a way to make some of their best work and their best art. And at least on Kendrick Lamar's side, I think that this battle, I can say on both sides, I think this battle really, showed us how talented both artists really are. Because Family Matters is no joke. It's not a joke song.
I want to. There's been some interesting takes from other people in the hip hop world that are quote unquote respected figureheads, maybe even spokespeople for the genre. Questlove. And if you don't want to answer this for fear of job security,
I'm independent, so
Okay, I'm just saying. I understand.
Right.
I know.
I still want to get invited to the cookout. You're right.
Yeah, you know what I mean. He has a wide reach.
Right. I would like to come back to Rock Nation brunch. Yes, I would.
I'd be really hurt if he was like, "Man, I said that shit. I'm over here driving Uber now."
I do sip in sparkling water with Beyonce.
There's a lack of violence in this beef and a lack of threats of violence, in my opinion. And I don't know if I like, which this is really 2 dudes going at each other. There's some personal shit being said back and forth, as insult fights have. But there have been some comments about how this is bad for the genre. And I don't believe that to be true. What do you say to those comments?
Overall, I think it's reactionary. I think that happens with every battle. I go back through my mental Rolodex and I can't remember any battle at some point where someone was like, "We gone too far." Like when Jay-Z made Super Ugly, "Oh, it went too far. Died over faith. Oh, skeeted in your Jeep." Oh. That's too much, and I actually respect, having that consideration, because I do think that there has been a history of things getting out of hand at different points in time. Like even Jeezy and Gucci got to some, but that was a different kind of beef. I think that when it's a rap beef, a hip hop beef, that resonates very differently than when it's really, something else. This isn't something else. Drake and The Weeknd is something else. That's something else. Those guys are shooting up each other's houses. Now, I can't confirm, but I think, The Weeknd's manager got his house, his bodyguard got shot. No, his security guard got shot at 2 a.m. at his house.
Jesus.
And then Drake's security guard got shot at 2 a.m. at Drake's house. You know what I mean? I don't know. But that is something else, right? And that's why I think that, there really isn't any discussion around what's happening over there. We haven't heard Drake say anything about, any of that. Well, we haven't heard Drake go direct at those guys since what? Push-ups, maybe? Maybe Family Matters. That's a different thing. This one is clearly a rap beef, So I don't look at this as having those same type of concerns. Now, I will say this as well, though. There's always someone who doesn't get the memo, and that person is usually the streets. And when Drake started playing with Tupac's Legacy and freaking, AI and Snoop Dogg, talking about Top Dog, questioning Kendrick's, street credibility, mentioning his wife, I think everything was cool between them. But LA's got a bunch of trigger happy, mentally ill people all over the place. You never know who's going to pull up to the function and just be like, "Oh, I got Drake." It's a different culture in Los Angeles gang culture, street culture. So, if something was to spill over, I don't think it would be a direct, but I definitely know that stuff in LA this is the extortion capital of entertainment. I've never seen anything like this in my life. And so I can understand that sentiment. The thing I don't like about what Quest said, he said there wasn't any skills. He said skills be damned. He said lies, no matter what truth is and skills are. I'm like, how can you listen to the Shakespearean shakedown that Kendrick just placed on Drake's lap and not see skills? He's got 16 bar entendres on Euphoria. He's got the most majestic song to me to come out of this with 616 in LA. That song, if that song's ever on streaming, oh my God, people are gonna have to rediscover it again for the third time. That song is brilliant. The dude is praying to God, like, why do I gotta kill this man? It's so he's got Meet the Grams is a letter to his family.
That song, Justin,
right?
Real talk. So I'm not listening to this music. I'm watching your show. And I'm not saying that because I'm better than it or, because I'm a doucher. I just, didn't know where it was and thought it was kind of a novelty, right?
Yeah.
Toussaint, to her credit, forces me to listen. And we listened to what did we listen to first, Toussaint?
I don't remember. We listened to something first, and I was like, no, you got to hear Meet the Grams.
And she was like, you got to hear Meet the Grams. And I was clutching my figurative pearls because Kendrick destroyed that man. I was like, Drake needs a bodyguard. Put him in witness protection because this is a lyrical beatdown like I haven't seen since I was a kid going to like house parties and cats was battling on dudes hella bad.
Right.
Like this was bad. I can't think of another verse about a cat like 616. Like we didn't even near to hear the whole song. I was like, that song's too long. It's like one of those ass whoopings where it's like the black dude in Rocky IV. Throw the damn towel. So when I hear these people that are supposed to be hip hop pioneers, isn't that the whole thing with the Roots? You got the battle rap guy. He does battle raps.
Yeah, I mean that's where I think that it now let's say the wordophile in me, we'll say wordophile. The wordophile it's like, okay, well, what's the definition of violence, right? Is it violent to label someone a pedophile on the #1 song in the world?
Oof.
Is that violence? You know, because pedophile is different than, you know, statutory rape or having sex with an underage person. You know what I mean? Like, both of them are illegal, and I think both of them are disgusting. But one is way more disgusting. So now I get the colloquial nature of it, but I understand how that puts people in a pearl clutching moment. You know, but those are the things that just kind of evolve with the times, in my opinion. You know, like if you listen to rap in the '90s, dudes were telling dudes that they were going to fuck them in the ass and suck my dick all the time.
Yeah, a lot of ass fucking.
Now it's no Diddy all over. You know?
That's right.
Close to that, right? You know, but in the '90s, you know, you say something like, you know, like Roxanne Shante was only good for steady fucking, or in the '80s, or that's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. That was out of bounds back then. Right? So now in this, we're in a very QAnon, you know, conspiratorial environment. You know, we have a lot of different internet stories that are just supersede hip hop that are prevalent in culture. You know, Hillary Clinton has a basement in a pizza shop in DC where they drink children's blood type stuff. You know, like you have states across the South that are passing legislation to get rid of DEI programs, African American Studies programs, getting rid of, you know, certain types of books in libraries under the guise of protecting children. So pedophile to me is the word of the zeitgeist. And so it doesn't necessarily, as violent as of an accusation that is, because really you can't disprove it. Like I don't know a way to disprove it, you know, other than not be on stage kissing 17-year-old girls. I don't know.
That's one way.
But like, you know, there is, especially when you start looking at broader business deals or cultural or corporate affiliations, and the damage that happens to a brand when someone's or Weinstein or Epstein or whoever else. Is it violent to label Drake something as strong as that word? Maybe there's a debate there. I just don't think that someone who, you know, was dissing Tupac in the '90s himself in I guess a very, you know, skillful, coded way, didn't put any crazy names on it, but definitely mocking him for all kinds of things. You know, for him to look at or describe this battle as if there was no skill in it, that's where he lost me. Otherwise, you know, people get older, they get more conservative, they start, you know, looking at all the things they've amassed and they don't want to risk anything, and they want to, you know, they have to say this stuff when they go around their other, you know, soon to be boomer friends, right? So, you know, I'm not necessarily surprised at the take, because Michael Eric Dyson was saying some crazy stuff too. His stuff was just nuts.
I mean, come on, it's Michael Eric Dyson. Like,
I mean, I would, the fact that this dude's, I'm sorry, I know I'm jumping around, but like with Questlove, it's like, to say it's not skill to me is the antithesis of everything I feel like their roots represent.
that's what I'm saying. I was literally offended when I saw the comment, but I'm not the biggest fan of dude when he talks. Great drummer. Thanks for the Soulquarians, I guess. But other than that, I'm kind of like, fuck.
It's the I guess that got me. It's the I guess part.
Yeah, you know, we get it at a certain point. Like, I get it. There's a Rhodes. I get it.
Yeah.
But, you know, seriously. And he's kind of the go-to cat for media when it comes to quote unquote Black culture.
Yeah.
Because he's the roots. So he's got his authenticity credit. He DJ'd for Prince for 5 seconds. You know, he's got the Jimmy Fallon. He's got the showbiz stories. Motherfuckers love that dude. I get it, but that take is odd. And I toured, and I've told you this. I've toured with Yo Gabba Gabba when Biz was still alive, and he was in his 50s when he was doing that tour. He would still, him and Cool V would still, in their dressing room, watch YouTube rap battles of young dudes all the time. And wouldn't belittle what they were doing because it was different than what those dudes did, you know, 30 years prior, whatever, 20 years prior. They just liked the music. They dug the genre. It was who they were. So it's fascinating to hear someone that's even younger than them have such a conservative take on maybe this is, in my opinion, the most positive rap confrontation I can think of. They weren't going head to head, other than, you were talking about the shootings of bodyguards. Common, Ice
That's
Cube,
the weekend.
people were fighting. That's the weekend. But Common, Ice Cube, people were
stuff. I don't understand Canadian culture. I don't know what they're.
You know what? No one does. And
Yeah.
fuck that Toronto talk shit.
I don't pretend to be culture in Canada. I'm not.
Dude, I was in Toronto in 2019, and that one person came up to me and did that fam dim shit. And if they would have, I would have been like, "Can you guys? Does this person need an adult?" Like, but to me, I've marveled at this situation for various different reasons. Number one, if you think about, you're in LA, NWA, Ice Cube, that takes time for them to fight, and it has to go through the hip hop media. So magazines like 4080, Rap Pages, and The Source had to tell you about what was going on. And Hieroglyphics, Hobo Junction. For most people, they didn't know about that till a month later or two, until The Source talked about it. We're getting it instantly through the internet, and you're getting the music instantly. No record labels have to approve samples. You don't have to go book studio time to write your diss or record your diss. You don't have to break it on radio. You can just drop it on YouTube. You don't even need a video. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty cool. That's different.
That's what I like.
Right?
Because that months of anticipation stuff, I never want to go back to that. After Takeover dropped, I was like, man, can Nas hurry up? The world just seemed like it was going so much slower. I mean, that's the other thing I think is incredible about this particular back and forth, right? I mean, there's a number of things that I see when I see this, right? Okay, Kendrick just got his new deal, right? He's on Interscope. And I always felt like if you ain't violent, you ain't Interscope, right?
Black Eyed Peas.
Right. You either have to be Black Eyed Peas or you need a bloody chainsaw, right? They don't do anything in the middle. You have to be the holes over there. So you got to be the most pop, or you got to be murder was the case, right? And like that's just their thing. And and Kendrick is not really that violent. He's great at painting these deep stories, but how does that really move the needle? How does that fit into the Interscope thing, right? Well, we found out, right? He's like, okay, we're going to do this Interscope deal. And then we're going to go at Drake, and it's going to feel like the best kind of friction, which will attract people in the way that violence does, right? Because when you obviously conflict, people love to see, but the way that he put that stuff together, right? He had shelves of the songs. He was like, okay, in case he talks about my family, I'm gonna do this. Okay, in case he don't talk about my family, I'm gonna do that. Okay, I'm definitely gonna talk about how his uncle was on Al Green. I'm gonna use Al Green. Right? He had that stuff, right? He had that stuff. And he's like, I'm gonna do it in this order. And I'm gonna bait him here and I'm gonna get over here and boom, right? But then the way he was planting other things that he either knew and made it seem like it was a bigger narrative. That's why I call it the Shakespearean shakedown, because it's compelling, even if Drake's not a real person, right? He starts alluding to the fact that, maybe OVO is working for me, though. Maybe I'm really the kingpin. I know you be walking around acting like you mafioso soprano everything, but maybe it's really me. Have you thought about that? Yo, it's about the jewels. It's about the diamonds. You know what happened that night at the Mark Hotel. You don't want me to talk. Like, whether or not it's as deep as that, he weaved it into the story to where he does feel like the biggest mob boss overlooking kingpin of rap music. He's got Drake on a string secretly. That falls right in line with the Interscope. If you ain't violent, you ain't Interscope. And he didn't have to murder nobody. He just did it lyrically.
Tucson, how do you feel about this? I know you have a lot to say because you are a hip hop aficionado.
How do I feel about what?
Really?
Yeah,
Justin's hair.
Justin's here. It's all happening.
How do you feel about the Kendrick Drake beef?
Overall, it's been really exciting. I love BBL Drizzy. That has basically changed my life. It's changed every shower. It's just really beautiful.
Shower.
It's perfect.
Okay. AI plays
Yes.
a very important role in this saga. BBL Drizzy, a catchy diss tune, might be more popular than the beef itself, making it easier for people to accept AI as a viable music. Justin, should we be concerned?
Well, I think that we've seen two different types of AI in this, right? We've seen, Drake's advertorial with tailor-made freestyle. I actually like tailor-made freestyle. I'm on the island by myself, right? But we've seen it used as a tool to diss somebody. We've seen it as a tool to embody somebody in a lot of ways. So I think Drake really does a great job of sounding like something Pac would say to his little protege. And I think he did a great job of sounding like, how Uncle Snoop talks when he's like, yo, I'm keeping it real, even if he didn't use their styles, which is the other part that I like. But that was an average tool. Like when people saw that was almost too polarizing. To a large sector of it, but it did an incredible job of getting people on Udio and Lala's and BandLab. Like those, the usage on those skyrocketed, right? And that's where BBL Drizzy was made. The original was made on Lala's, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So you've seen that, right? And then BBL Drizzy comes out, and then Metro remixes it. So it's the same thing, right? We don't get BBL Drizzy without the tailor-made freestyle stuff, like without AI being a part of the conversation. And I don't know if we should be scared or not. I think that we have a new tool at our disposal. Here's what I don't like. I think from a label corporate standpoint, they can't wait to not pay nobody, right? I mean, we saw that in Hollywood with the Hollywood strikes. Yes. They don't ever want to pay for a background actor ever again. They never want to have to do that. They just want to get someone's likeness thrown in the background. It's fine. No one's going to notice, right? And in music, with a lot of things that Lucien Grange has been saying in his letters over the past couple of years, he really doesn't feel like all these, he doesn't want to have to keep paying all this money to the performing rights organizations. He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't. Every movie that's made does not want to have to actually license real music or have somebody make new music. You know what I mean? Like, so a lot of the peripheral jobs in music are definitely at jeopardy. And I talk about that, and Drake deserves a smoke. I'm like, yo, this is corporate AI advertorial. Drake kind of is like Thanos. Like, he is really trying to snap away. He's the tool out there trying to snap away half the fucking, maybe he's not Thanos, but he's definitely the Infinity Gauntlet, trying to snap away the half the music making population with this Tupac stuff. But then you have beautiful moments like BBL Drizzy that adds value to people's lives. So with any new form of technology, a lot of windows and opportunities close, but a lot of windows and opportunities open, right? And I don't know what that actually looks like, but it's here, and I refuse to fear. My new intro of my song is AI. Mark Batson, incredible producer, great friend of mine. He's done everything from Yo-Yo Ma to Dave Matthews Band to Reba McEntire to Eminem and Dr. Dre to, he's just incredible. He loves AI. And so what he does is he'll take, an AI beat or sample or something, and he'll just add his own words to it, his own lyrics, right? So he gets his speed faster. A lot of people use AI, a lot of writers will use AI to get an idea started, and then they'll go someplace else. It's not too different than Wikipedia. I was in college when Wikipedia came out. I would go there first when I was writing my paper. And I would add the things to make it not plagiarism. You know what I mean? So, I'm not sure where this is going to go, but I know that the business of selling music definitely has a new threat. But on the benefit side to that, the major labels have basically left all the indie opportunities, indie artists, indie space wide open. They've basically decided that they don't want to worry about developing indie acts, especially non-indie rap acts
Agreed.
at all. So, there's still independent opportunities for people to be able to engage with audiences at scale.
I look at it a little differently. Going back in the Wayback Machine, when hip hop really becomes sample heavy, you have this music that's taking from other cultures that isn't that old, right? Disco's not that old when hip hop starts. Soul music that they're taking from isn't that old, right? And there becomes a way you look for let's look for Stax records, let's look for these Blue Note records. But anyway, you're taking from a certain genre of music, and you've been doing that for 20, 30 years now. So a lot of that stuff has been taken. There's so many songs where it's the same sample, right? Hip hop almost feels like it's copying what it did in the past with a lot of the production that I hear. And AI is just a feedback loop of that, because it can't really create anything new. It can only give back to you what you're putting in, which is already something from the past. BBL Drizzy, perfect example, right?
Yeah.
This doo-wop song.
It's great.
It is very catchy, right? You cannot deny it. It's pretty funny and catchy.
I love it.
But with certain technologies, a lot of aspects of the industry kind of came to an end. Session players still exist, but not the way they existed in the 60s. And definitely not the way they existed before the advent of the drum machine. And, definitely when sampling comes to be in hip hop, you don't even need real players anymore.
That's kind of like a byproduct of capitalism, though.
Yes.
That's way bigger than just what's happening in any particular industry, any vertical. At some point we have to evolve. Whoever's making horse carriages, I don't really worry about them.
But that's you when you said the whole thing about the record labels would love to find a way not to pay people.
No, they're trying. Yes, yeah, they can't.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you wholeheartedly. As someone that uses same way you said you use Wikipedia, there's little AI things I'll use to record guitar parts to. So it is here, right? But how does that change music? Like, I'm forced down here in Mexico. I'd much rather be closer to my family. I'd much rather be jamming with my friends in a room. That's very different sounding music. People love, Billie Eilish recorded her whole record in her bedroom. It's like, yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds very insular. It doesn't really go anywhere. What happens when the music gets, and then you're going to put that into a box? It's going to keep just repeating what you give it.
Well, I mean,
innovation. I look at it as a killer of innovation, I guess is what I'm saying.
I don't know. I mean, I think the innovation in AI is happening on the algorithmic side. AI is we're going to get to a point where AI is sentient. It's going to make up things, that didn't exist before. It'll bring in other elements in the world to add to things, right? It'll bring in wind and, a pin drop. It's that part's going to keep going. But I think on the other side of it, I look at everything based on, and this maybe is sad, but I look at it as a good song as how many different places you can listen to it, or you want to listen to it. Like, how usable is a song? I'm very utility when I think about, the big music, right? Because the biggest songs get played everywhere, and there's a reason for it. And I think we are going to get to a point where, BBL Drizzy is a great example of a song that is not really a song, but it is a song. The guy wrote the great lyrics, but I think it's a really great example. I don't know if that. I don't think that there is. I don't think that the human ear is going to care that much. We are a year after F and Mecca. We're a decade after AI Tupac or VR Tupac. Coachella. You know, we are 25 years after the Gorillas. You know, I used to listen to Jem and the Holograms because I liked the cartoon. I think all these things are kind of in the same line. The Alvin and the Chipmunks weren't really Alvin and the Chipmunks. We had no idea what those guys look like. We just like them singing through this thing. You know, MF Doom is one of my favorite rappers of all time. Out of necessity, he tried to make a point that it didn't matter what you look like. And you know, the success he had in his career was coming through an avatar, essentially. So I don't think that the population is going to really care. I watched a married couple of newlyweds right after they said their vows enter the party to BBL Drizzy. You know, she was so happy. That was her celebration song. The song was like 9 days old. She was like, "Oh, stop it, wedding coordinator, DJ. This wedding is not going down if we don't have BBL Drizzy." You know, so I don't know if that really makes a difference. I think the onus is on the creators. I think the onus is on the artists to define what this next style will be. And I think it's kind of always been that way.
Tucson?
It's a little scary to me that BBL Drizzy was AI. And part of me, like, I certainly haven't studied it. I don't know which parts are AI, like what he actually did, how he put it in the program. And so it's a little scary to me that I can like a song that much and it was AI. No musicians were involved in this.
No musicians were involved in the making of this
exactly
ass-whoopingly horrible diss.
I think he had. I mean, you know, you raised a great point, Tucson. Right? You know, how did he put it into the platform? Because you know, I've tried with AI. And I went to Udio and I was like, rap song about about conquering struggle. I like raps like that, right? And it gave me a J. Cole song, basically. And I was like, oh, okay. That's pretty scary. I thought it was Jay. I sent it to people. I'm like, yo, who's this sound like? And they were like, J. Cole dropped some new stuff. I didn't even tell them to do J. Cole. It just did it, right? But then, you know, if you say, like, let me get a soul song, 1950s, 57 with A minor flat, you know, 2 notes, you know, that sounds like a very musician, you know, point of view. But you have to know music to, I think, drill in all the way in what you want. You know, like I would have to say, I'd be like, all my Udio entries sound like they're from YouTube. You know, give me a Alchemist type beat. You know, give me a Kendrick type song. You know, but whatever they did with BBL Drizzy, and I've seen Mark play around with AI, and he's really into the gospel. The gospel music he's been playing around with, and the way that the vocal inflections capture soul pain, you know, is the most impressive part to him. But he writes all the lyrics for it, and you know, he's a composer, so he puts the, you know, the composition directions explicitly in there. But I still think that takes some sort of musical understanding to be able to use these tools to their maximum abilities.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's AI channels on YouTube of different genres of music, and there was a content guy more on the metal side that was going through some of these metal genres once on AI, and I had no idea about it, and I was watching it, and it was shocking how accurate it sounded.
Wow.
And that has a lot to do with the monotony of the genre, because when you put in genres that were more dissonant, it sounded like pots and pans in a dryer. It sounded horrible. Because a lot of those groups, there's not one definitive sound other than their dissonance, and that's going to sound different from artist to artist.
Right.
Doo-wop music is pretty simple. It was all in the same key, about the same BPM, female vocal timbres. I don't know if streams of the Supremes have been going up. I just haven't checked. You know, maybe people are going back and listening to some of these songs, but you know, when I see people use AI, it seems to be a lot of the same old stuff that we've seen before. Like, look, it's an AI trailer for Star Wars, but in the 50s instead of
That actually sounds pretty cool, though.
So you saw it too, right? They did the one Alien.
Now I gotta check it out. So
it was like, what if Alien was in the style of Dune?
That's kind of cool too.
Yeah,
I like these things.
That was the fear of a lot of these actors, which is we're out there in the world, and if you want to create content of me, because we're just into consuming things, you can just type it in. Hey, I want a 9th season of Family Ties.
Yeah. This stuff isn't cool to y'all.
It's cool and scary.
I want a 5th season of the Boondocks really badly, you know.
I guess the fear is, do you get
watching 1 through 4 still? Like,
one. When did Magruder leave? 3 or 4?
He left after 3. But see, okay, you didn't like 4.
I didn't. I never watched it. I never watched 4.
Here's the thing I like about 4.
Okay.
Look, I like Taylor Made Freestyle. Of course, I like the 4th season of the Boondocks. But like, that's the only season where there's one continuous storyline throughout each episode, throughout the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the only one that's tied to, you know, episodic as they're trying to get through one challenge. Granddad's broke, and look at all the crazy stuff they got to do to get Granddad some money. You know, the rest of them are just standalone episodes that you could just, you know, watch and laugh and have a great time with. But that 4th season, he's like, oh man, are they gonna get the money this week? No, okay. Oh, Kim Kardashian's here. Okay, you know. I like that episode. I like that season because of that. But I like AI. But ultimately, I think the biggest thing is, and this is something we have to reckon with as a world, as a nation, as an economy. Mm-hmm. We are now at the point where this is moving so fast and so many different industries are disrupted simultaneously. So we need universal basic income, or we need social media sites and websites and stuff to start paying people for using our data. You know, our data, shouldn't we get paid for it? You know, that's there needs to be an inversion of the economic system in very key points, because either you're going to have to end up putting a lot of people in jail, or you're going to have to kill a whole lot of people. Because you mean to tell me that a paralegal, a lawyer, a doctor, a human resources person, a truck driver, a singer, an actor, all these industries are disrupted because this machine could do it? ChatGPT, you don't need a paralegal. You can go to ChatGPT and it'll kick out the starter kit for your legal document. You know what I mean? So there needs to be some sort of inversion, especially when you have these huge private equity firms that are buying up all the houses. You know, so that's really what it signals to me. I don't think about it as a threat to the music industry in the same way. I think that the music industry is probably one of the industries that's most used to rapid evolution. And people still find a way to it still finds a way to grow, whether or not we appreciate the directions it's growing. It is growing, right? There are more people making music now than ever, just because GarageBand is so easy or whatever.
Is that good?
I think it doesn't. I think it's I think it's good to have people who are appreciating music. Yeah, I definitely think so.
Are they?
Well, I don't know if they are appreciating it from the standpoint of I was trained to do this, but also I still think music is a subjective thing, right? You know, like I think J. Cole's boring as hell, but I can't deny the fact that he tries hard and he's a good person. I think Post Malone should not exist, but
I would love to show you some of the hip hop that I found on this wonderful page on Instagram.
Yeah, let's hear
it. Toussaint, can you be entertaining for 5 seconds while I give this to Justin?
Gosh, doing this to me while Justin Hunt is here.
Yeah,
it's all happening. Oh my god.
Here's what else I like about that. Here's what else I like about the battle. We can get back to Drake versus because I love this. I'm actually working on this right now. I'm like, let me get on this fast because this shit is so inspiring. So Drake is such an internet guy. He's such a social media guy, posting all the time, and Kendrick is so not. And the way I think is so interesting with the Rap Avengers is almost like Rick Ross was his street team. There was no, he never mentions Rick Ross. There was no public, allegiance with any of these people from Kendrick's side. The closest thing he gets there is, notice I said we, I'm what the culture's feeling. That's the closest thing to any recognition. There's other people on his team. But Rick Ross gave us BBL Drizzy.
He sure did.
Rick Ross, because of Rick Ross, we got to see Drake tell the world that he told his mom that Rick Ross was racist.
Yep.
It's a crazy cultural touch point. Rick Ross didn't, and Rick Ross wasn't letting up. So that 17 days, 14 days, whatever, between push-ups and tailor-made freestyle and I guess tailor-made freestyle and Euphoria. Rick Ross was every day, BBL Drizzy, BBL Drizzy, you know what I mean? And so it's like, it was taking place on multiple spheres. I'm very critical of Drake on Family Matters for taking the approach of talking to A$AP Rocky, Rick Ross, Metro Boomin. I felt too distracted. I'm like, you in the battle now. You already did that on push-ups. You got to focus right now. But there was a 20v1 type feeling if you were online watching the memes every day.
Right.
Online watching Rick Ross every day beat that boy up. You know what I mean? That was like the street team element of it that I love, And the other part, we didn't make it to this. We didn't make it to we didn't make it to the crew track. You know what I mean? We didn't make it to the posse cut.
True.
We didn't make it to the posse cut round. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out who would be on a posse cut with Drake. Like who would posse cut with Drake right now? Like if you look at the people he signed R&B singers. So I don't know how that's really going to
True.
work. He doesn't put on anybody or work with anybody in Canada like that. So it's not like some super spitters that we haven't heard of would obviously jump on there and make a difference. But we saw Game go online and we saw Game say, he posted, I got enemies, got a lot of enemies. So we saw that. And we just saw Game go at Rick Ross, right? So Game would be on a posse cut with Drake. I think he's open to it. And Game probably needs it. He voted himself off Aftermath Island 2 years ago, last year, by dissing Eminem inexplicably because he wasn't invited to the Super Bowl. Weird. Also is a part of this beef. One of the big salvos in the beef was when he did the song 100 with Drake, and they shot it in Compton. And they shot the video in Compton. So Drake disses Kendrick in Compton on a Game song, right? So there's like, some weird stuff there between TDE and Game. That was some hard that was a hard conversation, whatever it was, right? And then, and then you look at it like, okay, so now here's Drake going at Rick Ross on the song. He says K-Dot and Kendrick way too many times to be dissing Rick Ross, in my opinion. Tonight really wants to diss Kendrick. He really wants to diss Kendrick, right? And I feel like I know this because of how I am about my opinions, but away from that, I think that when you really look at it, this is a changing of the guard in Compton history, right? Like for the longest time, Game was like the biggest young guy out of Compton.
Yeah.
He's grown, he's less respected, even though his pen is feared, right? And I think a lot of it is just, the birth of the internet, him kind of being a TV troll guy anyway. He was on Change of Heart, the TV show. He was a male dancer. Like he likes the spotlight. And so you look at all that. And then the beginning of Not Like Us says, I see dead people, right? From the movie. Game actually has a song on Jesus Peace, which is probably his last revered album or highly praised album. And it's called Dead People. And I feel like, Game has made up this world in his mind that Kendrick sent a subliminal to him, and he can't go at him straight up. It'll just look stupid, silly, and overly thirsty. So who's he go at? He goes at Rick Ross, the maker of BBL Drizzy, the low-hanging fruit, i.e. street team captain of this whole spirit extravaganza. The side character conversations in this beef or in this back and forth are historic, in my opinion.
Toussaint and Justin, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know who this person is called. It doesn't matter.
You think you're lyrical, rhyming nigga with nigga. We all know the truth, you ain't pulled the trigger. My own brother still from me, cut off his fingers. Smoking grade A and the smell always linger. Lil' King, a better rapper, still labeled a singer. Water dripping on me, call it Aquafina. Turn into a bumblebee, hit you with my stinger. Truth is your rap trash, yo shit really stink, bro. Oh.
I don't think everybody needs garage bands.
Yeah. How many hate views does it have?
The page is called Local Trash Rappers.
Oh,
So
no.
I follow a page.
That's a popular page.
I follow a page that, and I don't follow this page, brother Justin. I adore this page.
Yeah.
I lived in a rehearsal studio and worked there for years. I feel like I've heard the worst of every genre of music. I've heard every dad cover band.
Mhm.
I've heard every shitty rock band. I've heard every shitty soul group. I've heard every shitty rapper. I've seen them film their shitty videos. So to have a page dedicated to this, it's a little nostalgic for me a little bit because I can get little pieces of it.
There you go. Look at the upside already. I thought you were going to leave with something a little.
Nah. I think it's hilarious. I think it's fucking hilarious. There's so much shitty rap. I didn't realize there's so much shitty rap. And because, you know, I'm a bit of a race man, I like not seeing black people make shitty music like that. Makes me feel better.
See, but if there wasn't so much shitty rap, you wouldn't have a page that you adore. You're adding value to your life.
That's true.
You know, you wouldn't go pay to see this. You wouldn't go buy a ticket to the show. There's free time when you're alone and no one's around. You have found a way to adore all the wonderful things local city rappers bring to your life. That's beautiful. That is the core of what music does.
Some of this shit, there's one dude, Toussaint, we got to find Justin, the Guap City guy.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about it right here.
Do you know the Guap City guy, Justin?
No, I mean, I only Guap I know is Guap Dad.
Is that a guacamole man?
He's a Filipino. He's LA, but he's Filipino rapper, but he's dope though.
I don't know what this. I think he's some sort of Latin. This gentleman.
Yeah.
If I can find one of his, it is by far the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life, and he's not trying to be funny. He's just that bad.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't generally make diss tracks, but you know, I do like seeing, you know, people at all ends of the creative spectrum.
Well, you know, like you said, and like we were saying with Kendrick and Drake, you can put music out so quick in a way you couldn't do it before. And there were, I hate to use the term gatekeepers, there was just avenues to getting stuff out, right? There was money that you had to have to pay for studio time, and you had to shoot a video if you don't have the equipment, you know, all that stuff. Now it's a lot easier, but you know,
like how much, let's say this, like how much would $2,000 go to making an album? Let's say in
2024?
No, like in the 90s, like when the time period that you were just referencing, where you needed money to get studio time and all that. Like, how could you make an album on $2,000?
Real talk. In 1997, we drove to LA, to the Valley, to go record at the Black Eyed Peas pre-production spot. This was right before their first record came out. I think we paid them $300 to use their stuff and record our stuff there. Gas, and we stayed with friends, and then we pressed up vinyl in 1997. So I believe we did all that for under $2,000.
That's
in 1997.
That's an iPhone.
Yeah,
that's a computer. That's an iPhone.
Yeah,
you know, the cost just shifts.
It was a different time.
You didn't need an iPhone. You did all that without having you know, without someone texting you. You didn't receive one text message that whole time.
No, we did not.
You
No,
know,
we did not.
you didn't have one thirst trap in your DMs.
No, we did not. That was a very, very, that was so fresh of a time, Justin. We wanted to know like stories about, you know, because it was 97. So I think Biggie had died by then. And they wouldn't talk to us about it because we were at Ben Yad's house.
Because they did it. No, I'm joking.
They were just like, oh no, we can't talk about that. Like, listen. I found the Guap City guy.
Okay.
Some more. I need you to do a review on this.
Oh no.
This is
let's see. Oh.
Is it up? Okay, Glumpney.
Okay. As a young and chilled out, thinking what to do. Many alleys I walk through. I post on Moran Avenue. I hit the Fairview by the gate. Book watching cartoons. I'm out here in the ghetto's tunes. Seeing the crazy life consumes. Always out in the dark. Tweakers looking like a rabid dog. The grunt is their bark. I seen so much. I miss them when they ain't there. Tweakers popping out of a trashy alley. Gave me a scare. Running to a good one, I have a share. Why they out there? Some can't say no to drugs. Some look like to bite you like some bed bugs. In the ghetto.
In the ghetto. In the ghetto. That's it. Oh my God. Well, he captured the vibe. He captured the vibe. You know, he's earnest. A lot of it's just being earnest, you know. I don't think Craig's earnest.
You are the nicest fucking guy ever. You are, oof, man.
These are people's dreams, you know. One day I was there. I remember the time when I was just like a guy with a suit and a backpack and a dream. You know what I mean? Like, you never know where people are going to get. You know, that he might get in the studio and someone teaches him how to be, you know, not tone deaf, and you never know where he could go. You know, he might have some crazy dope perspective. You know, Myles was rapping about cockroaches.
See, that's what you don't do to people like that. You go, hey man, hey, Myles is rapping about cockroaches, bed bugs, huh?
There he is. In the ghetto, it's the same. That's the same thing. We got the same conversation. You know, his perspective's there. His talent just hadn't showed up yet.
You should have been on American Idol because so many people would have left with hope. It would have been a whole different show. It would have been a whole different show. And look, in all fairness, in all honesty, you don't want to shit on somebody's dreams.
Yeah.
Putting music out, putting anything out, to me, putting creative stuff out is very frightening.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm with you.
Right. Every time I do this show, it's like, oh God, who's going to call me a douchebag today?
Right.
Right. How many douchebags am I going to be today?
Which bully from middle school felt? Talk about that time you pissed your pants.
I'm pretty good about clowning myself on air. I don't mind.
Yeah,
I hide nothing. You know, I can. It's not cool in school, but
see, that's another thing about this battle, right?
Yeah.
This Drake thing. Drake knew exactly everything people were going to say. He said that Kendrick was going to talk about the young girl stuff. He said he knows this stuff is on the internet. He's on the internet every day. And when Kendrick finally does it, he never figured out anything to say, right? You're good at picking on yourself. I've had a 5 head my whole life. I didn't get eyebrows till I was 14. I go by the company, man. I know exactly how to respond to stuff that's out there. How could you not know how to respond to certified lover boys, certified pedophile?
Oof.
I just don't get it.
Oof. Again, the Kendrick beef. I get what you're saying because I call it the Eminem method from 8 Mile. Right? Remember the last battle with Papa? Was it Papa Doc? Was that his name?
Papa Doc, yeah.
Because they had some stupid names in that movie. Bunny Rabbit, like
Cheddar Bob.
Detroit, huh? Y'all ain't really coming with the nicknames.
Right.
Now I got Eminem looking for me. Is Eminem the best battle rapper of all time?
Battle rapper? No. Like maybe I mean, no, definitely. I can't give him that at all. I think he's probably made the best battle rap movie of all time, but
There's another one? Rapping?
he's got two of them. He did 8 Mile and he did I can't think of it. It was actually a battle rap movie on the Battle Rap Network that he started, and it was good. It was really compelling, So he's probably got the two best battle rap movies now that I think about it. But okay, in mainstream rap, who's M really battle?
Right. Benzino.
Everlast.
And Benzino, Everlast, Machine Gun Kelly, a bunch of pop stars, and they ganged up on Ja Rule. I don't know who else is out there.
Benzino's got baby shoulders.
Nick Cannon, like who's he? See,
Nick Cannon.
Eminem is smart. I think that's smart of Eminem. He doesn't need to get into an Elvis conversation with the wrong guy. He doesn't need people bringing up how on his apology song, Yellow Brick Road, where he apologizes for calling a black woman the N-word, black chick the N-word, that leak that started the whole thing with the source in the first place. On that same song, he calls X-Clan racist. Okay, he doesn't need people bringing that up. He doesn't need people bringing up that he is the start of the entire right-wing media conversation. You find me offensive, I find you offensive for finding me some Trump stuff before Trump. This whole idea is like he's the first time we ever heard this on Lex. He doesn't want fucking, he doesn't want fucking the wrong dude. He don't want Kanye going at him like that, you know what I mean, or whoever. So he's smart. He picks his battles, but I can't give him the best battle rapper.
Who's the best battle rapper?
Who's he battle?
No, who I'm asking. Who is? I don't know.
Cannabis was good, but Cannabis was like going through stuff. But he was in like the Meek Mill phase of his career. He wasn't just ready for the smoke at that point in time. So I don't know.
Is LL?
LL? No, I can't give it to LL either. He did because of the way he did. I think he's got a better record than most people, I would say. Definitely furious on the microphone. Like you didn't want to touch him. He was very Drakey in that and actually won more battles against more respected rappers than I would say Drake did. But that's a good question. I think he's up there. I think he's definitely up there. I mean, look, you got to give Tupac, right? I mean, maybe he started everything. He made diss tracks out, a bunch of diss tracks. Did he lose to anybody? We didn't really get to see Biggie. No.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate you saying that because there's this Biggie lore. I'm like, guy had 2 records, and the first one.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't really even know. Like, usually there is some underlying point of interest to battles of note, and it starts with some level of disrespect. I see KRS-One mentioned. I think he started off great, but then now he's picking fights with Nelly. Like that's.
I mean, he punched dude from
PM Dawn.
PM Dawn. That was unnecessary.
I am with it. I support it. Not support punching PM Dawn. That dude was just out here on his little yacht. He just chilling 2 decades.
He was just mine.
He was on his little yacht.
PM Dawn never came out and said they were hard.
Never.
There's nothing about them that ever came out and said they were hard.
Never. So, but I don't know. I definitely think there's some guys that would just go crazy in a battle. You know what I mean? Like I think Lupe and Kendrick is the only battle I'd really like to see because I don't think it would get dirty. I think it would just be some lyrical, and I think it would really highlight the art and the craft behind this whole thing. And I think that's a big opportunity Drake missed too. That whole month leading up to that battle was a questioning whether Kendrick Lamar had quotables, whether Kendrick Lamar was really a super lyricist, whether Kendrick Lamar was top tier. And Lupe came out and said he's not even top 100. Lupe has been, they've had a weird back and forth for a long time now, right? And Lupe has also been very outwardly supporting Drake in his life and career. I'm not going to say in this battle, but he's talked about how talented Drake is in a lot of different ways. You could make a lot of comparisons between Kendrick and Lupe. You can make a lot of comparisons between Kendrick and Lupe. And Kendrick has a lot of phenomenal ideas second. That's something that never came up in this battle. most of Kendrick's stuff, you can see exactly where he got it from, and it wasn't that long ago. Like Good Kid, Mad City is Boys in the Hood. You know, we knew how that album was going to end when he got in the car. You know, To Butterflies, a Roots album. It has the same intro.
Oof.
It has the same intro as to the
Look, Justin, when you say these blasphemous things that I don't find blasphemy, but I know too many people in their latter 40s that if they heard you say this, I'd have to hold them back. I'm sure when you go out in your chocolatey circles of friends and you may
oh my gosh, you got the number of blank stares. I get like people look at some point. People like I was in a barbershop the other day saying some stuff, and everyone just like, well, they were like, I don't know. I can't call it out. No, you know, I think that's so much. It's
Justin got to get his shit done at the beauty shop in the Valley now. He can't go to the fucking Compton shop no more.
No, but for real, like you could do this with like no artist is impervious to critique in this space, right? I mean,
yes.
Like Lupe's Tetsuo and Youth goes forwards and backwards. I was 2 years older than Damn. That's what we love Damn about, you know, like, you know, Mr. Morale's a therapy album. It's just deeper and doper than the themes that J. Cole talked about on KOD. And J. Cole's original rap name is Therapist. Like you can pick at Kendrick's veneer. There's this veneer of him being this solo, independent, brilliant thinker, penning these world-changing songs in the solitude of his safe space. But no, the dude has a lot of phenomenal ideas second. You got to chip away at that. You got to chip away at him winning Pulitzer Prizes, not him being a bad husband, which he talked about in the album you didn't listen to. Like there's no strategy at all going on with what Drake was doing. That's why I look at Meek Mill as being the biggest loser. It's pretty much the only guy who Drake has actually beat now. Like that's pretty much where we're at. And Meek Mill was on drugs in a traumatic relationship and on tour. What do we really expect, you know?
Meek Mill he's the one, right? That's got the puffy audio, the alleged audio. I don't believe that.
That's audio. Right.
I do not believe that audio.
No, I don't.
And it's not funny. It sounds like an assault.
I don't know. I don't care about who anybody's fucking. I just don't like.
But that's sad that poor guy's going through that. I do want to bring something up.
Guy's the luckiest man in the rap. He could be in jail right now. You know what I mean? Jay-Z got him out of jail. Okay, he hangs out with billionaires all the time. You know, he can take.
Does the bunny hop with them?
Don't say he can take it. Don't say that.
No Diddy. I don't have no sympathy. How about that? You know, all the things that Meek Mill has gone through in life. Yeah, I'm sure he can handle this. You know, he's good. I saw him on vacation with his sons. It looked like they got a happy family. You know, he's not. Apparently, he's not in any of this stuff that Diddy's going through. So, you know.
Before we pivot to Diddy, because I did watch your Diddy video, and I watched it like right when you dropped it. There's something interesting. Drake. So I looked up some numbers.
Yeah.
And by far, the only hip hop representation when you talk about the biggest tours of all time and the top streaming on Spotify is Drake.
Yeah.
Drake is the biggest rapper right now that we know. And he's an older in the sense of he's been doing it for a while.
Right.
Before Drake, I grew up where Hammer and Vanilla Ice were the ones setting the tone for the popularity of hip hop.
Okay.
Selling products, having a cartoon, right?
Having a doll.
I like the Hammer card.
Right. He had a doll. But that music for a lot of people was dissed because it was pop.
Right.
Right. The gas face. You like MF Doom? Mm-hmm. I remember Zeph Love X.
Right.
And
how many of y'all would go to a Zeb Love X show if you'd never put on the Doom mask? That's the question.
Nobody would, because it was me and like 30,000 other people that owned the first KMD record.
Right.
A positive cause in a much damaged society.
Right.
But I do dig that difference between Drake and Hammer. I think there is a difference between Drake and Hammer. Do you think there's a difference between Drake and Hammer?
Yeah, Hammer made Prey.
But Drake made God's plan.
God's plan. His God's plan was a diss track.
That's
to
true.
Jesus.
It was to XXX. He was giving out money in Miami. That's why Toronto got mad at him because he didn't give out money.
That's why he did it in Miami?
Yes.
After that kid died?
This is how he be, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to get on, I think that there is a difference between well, one, I don't know. I don't think that I think MC Hammer was a product of the time.
Sure.
And the culture was rap was a lot smaller than hip hop at that time. And so for all the hate that Hammer was getting, he was representative of, all the early rap groups where they used to dance and wear leather and wrestling outfits. He was on the performative side of things. Rap had just changed to get more naturalistic a year or two, like while Hammer was out. I don't think that Hammer was necessarily Hammer's mistake was when he started doing pumps and a bump when he got over to Death Row. That's really
Deion Sanders. That's what the problem was.
Right. When he switched it up, that's where that went. Vanilla Ice was only around for a year. Let's be honest. That was 1 year.
One song,
1 year. And his problem was he started dressing like Hammer. He should have just stayed with whatever the regular stuff he was doing. But he started dressing like Hammer, so he switched up. I think there's an argument that Drake has switched up. He has gotten so fucking mafioso. He uses so many. Him and J. Cole got all the gun bars. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I mean, I can see J. Cole, his dad's in the military, he lives in North Carolina. I'm sure he's got a crazy gun case, like a gun safe in his house somewhere. He probably goes hunting and shit on his spare time after he gets off his bike and finishes riding it. And there's a lot of gun references in rap. But dog, why is there more when you get older? Why are you getting more violent as you get older?
He's got more money and more problems.
That's what Drake is doing. Drake is getting more violent as he gets older. I think that, the things that I liked about Drake, the random forays into what his life was like with Look What You've Done, the song about his mom, a lot of the stuff on Take Care, some things that were on Nothing Was the Same. Those so far gone, like, the more emotional leaning stuff, that to me was where he was most progressive. That's where he was most genre pushing to me, and how he emoted. That's gone away in us. The sounds, the tones are still there, but now it's like, yeah, Meg Thee Stallion got shot, y'all, by the way. Oh, I'm fucking Kanye's wife. Gotta let you guys know that. Oh, like, the things that he talks about are so limited to what he's experiencing in his life. And as talented as he is and as big as he is, it just sounds like a more flaccid version. It sounds like a de-evolution of the way that a lot of the things that he emoted and conveyed when he came into life. You know what I mean? He's almost like a walking meme. He's Fat Elvis. He's Elvis in his final form, because he gets to say nigga, right? And so I do think that there might be a connection through those two artists you're talking about, because in order to reach certain levels of mass appeal and pop appeal, you have to be as palatable to as many people as possible. And that's been Drake's mission since he came in. That's a strategic decision he's continued to make, right? Just like OJ, just like Tiger Woods, just like Post Malone, just like Clarence Thomas, right? Like, he's over there, in my opinion. And that's no shade or take away from his talent. But when you have an opportunity to have an opinion, a stance, a constitution about something, and that you just stay away from it because your constitution is money or yourself, well, that is a very, I don't want to call it Hammer, because I don't think Hammer is as bad as Vanilla Ice in them, but like, I don't think Vanilla Ice was that bad either. So I put him over there with Elvis. I love it.
And shout out for bringing up OJ. I wrote that article about him not too long ago, where I basically say the same thing.
Yeah. What he is, man. It's a sad thing too, dog. Like, I would love Drake to say something about Israel and Palestine.
Not going to happen.
I would love it. It's not going to happen. But who cares what side? I think that is
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, him having an opinion would be amazing to me.
Not gonna happen.
He can do his Floyd Mayweather right now. I would respect the hell out of it. You know what I mean? Like, if Drake could have called Rick Ross anti-Semitic. Rick Ross was calling the dude pastrami posse. You know, they could throw that punch out anytime he wants to. You know, I think it would be dope if he went out there and said something about a world issue or something, which brings me to another point that I've been wanting to
okay.
This isn't about these guys at all.
I'm loving that.
This Marvel X-Men, X-Men is coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And they've been they had a bunch of hypotheses out there that they should make Magneto and Professor X black, right? And then just like, people just talking on the internet.
Oh, gotcha.
And so, because that one dude does look like Professor X, the dude from Breaking Bad. I can't think of his name. I think they just recast him as.
Giancarlo.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And whoever they were talking, I can't remember who they were talking about with Magneto. And they were like, "Oh, you can't do that. Magneto is from the Holocaust. You can't do that." I'm like, "Just make it from Palestine. You can switch it up right now.
Switch up anything.
Yeah, you put it in Palestine. It'll hit right now. Like whether or not Drake has a sided opinion on whatever's happening in Israel, that's not the point. Drake doesn't have gravitas to his perspective outside of himself. And when you have music like that in rap or any foundational Black American genre of music, which is all of them, you've now separated yourself from a community that's always had a level of consciousness out of necessity. We were singing on plantations because we had to get one way to get messages past master. You know what I'm saying? We were a population that literally was currency. You could trade like 5 of us and get a house. So of course we're going to talk about money in certain aspects of it, but there's always a level of consciousness that comes with it. And when you separate that consciousness and then you jump on every trend and you step on the trends to look like the hottest thing, and then you go away and go do something else. That's why the Rap Avengers came up and pulled that dude's culture card.
But it's fascinating though that this dude's been able to do it at such an advanced age, because usually when we would see this happen in years past of any genre of music, you got called out. Madonna got called out when she had remember when she had like Britney Spears on stage, was it 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Look at her, just trying to stay relevant.
I think it's because Drake never went away. He followed the Kanye approach. Never leave while you're hot. That's how May screwed up. And I think when you do that, and also too, I don't think that it's one thing with Drake. I think it's a series of things. You know what I mean? It's a series of, it's like when you go around and what's that movie? Mean Girls. Mm-hmm. When you go around kicking word vomit on the low at everybody, at some point, everyone's like, "You too?" I think that's what we're seeing. And then styles change, times change, and if you don't change, someone's going to challenge you for your spot, and that's what we see. That's what we see with Kendrick Lamar. Right, we are in an era where we need gravitas in music again, and he's only ever represented that. He's not someone who makes diss tracks. He doesn't make diss tracks like that. He doesn't have a reputation of co-opting what other people are doing. I think he steals like an artist, for example. That's a book by Alex Cleon, I think, where he talks about where other artists get their inspiration from. He steals like an artist. He doesn't steal like a culture vulture. And there's a difference. You know what I mean? You put your own spin on stuff. Not like jump on the song, take the song. All right, dude, thanks. See you later. Oh, by the way, you're welcome. I just watered down your culture. You're welcome. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Talking about, then calling Rick Ross racist at the same time. Just disrespecting your mom on a diss track. Like, it's just some dicey shit, dog. I don't know.
Lillian Chicherchia, who is a friend of show, said Nicki Minaj got arrested in Amsterdam.
Oh, that's why she was trending this morning, or is this old?
Yeah, free Nicki.
She's fully in the back of a police car. And what if we switched it up
from her loser ex and got a free Nicki?
What did she do to get arrested in Amsterdam? I almost got
weed. How do you get arrested in Amsterdam with weed?
Can't be weed.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that I don't believe the headline on that post.
Lillian, we need more proof. I know you're in Europe right now, but we need proof.
I lived in Amsterdam for a while, and I almost got arrested. It wasn't for weed though; it was for being drunk and unruly. These
unruly.
Were you?
Yeah, I was. I did it. Yeah, I don't need any sympathy. This was not a miscarriage of justice. No, I was drunk after sake happy hour, and some cops on horses came up.
Thought it was slave masters.
Right. And you know, my friends were like, "No, he's cool. Don't worry, officers. We find my British friends. Oh no, he's cool, officer." On my accent sound like a Caribbean accent. Oh, he's cool. and so I made it home and peed in the bed. So you know, that's how that
goes. Sean Puffy Combs. I can't have you here and not talk about Sean Puffy P Diddy Bop Combs. A video was released. I watched a video today of someone saying the reason why Puffy went after Cassie. Sorry, wrong C name. Black woman. Was because she stole money and a bag out of the room. Still doesn't give anybody the right to do that, right?
He kicked that chick.
He kicked that twice. After she was out.
She laid there like that was her defense mechanism. She didn't even react. She played dead. Okay, I don't care what the fuck she did. Excuse my language.
Mm-hmm.
That's inexcusable. That looks like predatory behavior that has been going on for a long time before she stole money out that bag. And if she did, so what?
Yeah.
So what, Diddy? So what? You're staying at a 4-star hotel already. That's dicey. You control it in that spot. How often do you have to take security footage? Did you buy the whole floor because you know you'd be wilding out?
Mm-hmm.
Take it. There's another video that he put on his social on live where she's like in the ball under a blanket on the floor. Like, what? There's no justification. This dude, like, I got a homie who went to college with Diddy and said he lived next door to him. Mm-hmm. One day Diddy left. These other dudes came in and beat the shit out of his roommates or Diddy's roommate for something Diddy did.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? Like, there's stories like this that have been around Diddy for a long time, as we all know, and whether or not we could verify him or whatever, this video has confirmed everything. If he's willing to do that,
mm-hmm.
butt naked in the socks and a towel, sprinting down the hall with nothing but a towel and some socks, throws a vase at her. Yeah, that might kill Tupac.
Yeah.
No, like, oh, dude, seriously, when I watched your coverage of it, because I think I hadn't watched it, and I saw you drop the video. I was like, oh, this is my first time seeing it. It's shocking. I'm not shocked, but it's shocking because I feel like he's the type of nigga. But what do you think happens if this narrative starts coming out that, oh, well, this is a reaction from her doing something?
It doesn't matter. There's no narrative that'll be louder than that video. You know, this isn't like, we didn't see Meg Thee Stallion get shot. We saw her limping. Mm-hmm. So that was when you don't see the actual incident. That leaves a gap in people's minds to hypothesize what might have happened, right? Like, as part of this Drake and Kendrick beef, there's this weird thing that's happening with Ebony Prince 2K24, who's online, who has the items that are in the thumbnails of the Kendrick's Meet the Grams and 616 and 616 in LA. And he was dropping videos on some Riddler stuff.
Yeah.
You know, trying to show that something crazy went down in that hallway, in that lobby of that hotel. But we never see the crazy part. right? So now people can say he's lying, or people can make up whatever. We just know something went down in there, and everybody got quiet. I think everybody got their money and they stopped talking. But that's just, I have to allude to that. There is nothing in that Diddy video. We saw the video. I can't erase that from my mind. Diddy did it. He did it all. He's doing shit right now. He's in Miami fucking people up right now. I believe it. I have no proof so. The dude is like, oh man, I was sorry when I did it. I take full responsibility. You didn't do it. You already told us you didn't do it.
Yeah.
He was disgusted when he did it.
Oh my, he knew he did it and lied to us anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, honestly, that's private information, generally speaking. You know, I'm not, and I think it's standard fare that when someone gets sued for something, they settle. The lawyers make sure that nobody admits any guilt. I think a lot of that's just standard and legal stuff. But we saw the video. Naked in some socks. Like, I don't know, man. And she's playing dead. That was a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
You knew
if you do that outside of a room where you know there's cameras, what do you do when you know there's no cameras?
Come on, man.
You know what I mean? That was my first thing. When
Right.
you did that, you knew there were, and you gave no fucks. So what goes on when no one is looking, right? Tucson, what do you feel about all this Diddy Bop?
Well, I came across the information that apparently after that video, Cassie got into a cab and tried to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess realized that she didn't know where to go. Like this guy was inescapable. So she goes back to the hotel and the hotel people tell her to leave. They're like, you don't need to be here. Please don't be here. And she's like, I want to just apologize. Like,
I mean, we talk about this, and these are shows that don't do well for us. When we go, should we be alarmed when there's this large of an age difference? And Tucson's the only person I've heard say these are coercive relationships. When someone's that much more famous than you, that much more older than you.
You ever dated anybody famous, Tucson?
No, not once.
She's lying.
Only bums.
You ever date a local celebrity? You ever date like somebody popular in high school?
Yeah.
She should tell you what high school she went to.
I went to the fame school.
Diddy's high school?
No.
I'm gonna write in the private chat who she went to school with, Justin.
Okay. That's right. We got no snitching policy over here.
Yeah. I probably spelled this last name wrong, but yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Oh, wow.
These are some of the people she went to school with.
Okay.
So yeah, she dated famous people. She's a lie.
I think you could even see it with it, you know, just even on local celebrity level, or just someone who just has, you know, more resources than the person they're dating. You know, I mean, you could have a whole lot of, you know, you could be broke and a pimp. You know, like there's all kinds of people who are able to manipulate people into doing different situations. And when you extrapolate that by giving money, you start getting power, you got fame, you got celebrity around that, on top of that already. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's an age thing necessarily all the time, but I definitely think that the description fits. Like if I reflexively had to say that it was, I'd leave a gap to say that that's what those relationships are like, but I think a lot of those relationships tend to be that way. My daddy got it.
Ew. Oh.
My daddy got it.
My daughter doesn't call me that.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't call me that, I can't bang anyone calling me that. That's
I don't like
a shriveler. That's a shriveler.
I don't like that at all.
Right there.
I don't want to be dating anyone. I like older women, you know, just straight up. But I don't want to. Daddy, what are you doing? I need a grown conversation. I thought this was something totally different now. No, that's not what I'm into.
Not at all.
I dated a chick who used to call me daddy. I was like, yo. you want to keep this belly smacking going, you need to stop saying that.
No. I need you to be old with a bad hip.
Right.
I need you to have the same. If we didn't watch the same cartoons growing up, it's not gonna work out.
Right. If you never heard of the World of David the Gnome, I don't know if we could. You know, if you didn't know that Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson, and Wayne Gretzky had a cartoon, we might not be right for each other. Yeah, I'm gonna think so.
I would love to see Justin's Tinder profile with all the things you need.
Right. Oh man. Crazy.
Is Diddy done? I think he's done. I've said, and I don't know if you feel the same way. I feel like the people that are quote unquote done, that got busted. First of all, a lot of Bill Cosby is free. Charges were either dropped or he was acquitted in New York, I think. Harvey Weinstein.
Mm-hmm. He's not in jail anymore. He's out.
He's in because he still has to go. He's got charges in LA.
Right.
But it doesn't look good in LA. Diddy, this is my opinion. You may disagree. You're more in the industry at this level than I am. Didn't seem like the kingmaker he was in the 90s and early 2000s. And it's easier for him to fall at this point.
Depends on what you think about kingmaker. You know, I mean, he's one of, 3 black men in America to have a national network?
Yeah, you got a network.
You know, that's almost, it's like him, Bob Johnson, Magic Johnson. It's like, I guess 4 or 5 guys ever, you know?
But what is that network in the sense of, are you going to go on Revolt TV and then, fall into Marvel movies? Or is Revolt TV it's game film? We have to be honest. It's game film for a bigger career.
I mean, I still think that carries a lot of weight in business and media. We're talking about kingmakers, they've had successful people come through that platform that have done some really cool things. So maybe it's not music artists in general, but I don't know what making a king is now in this era at all. We don't have superstars anymore. We just have people with big audiences and other people with less big audiences. So, I don't know what that is, but I know that he is still a titan of himself, also himself. I know that when he put his name, his stamp on something, it immediately was elevated. That part never went away. Whether it was a brand, whether it was himself, whether it was a TV show, a documentary, a movie, whatever it was, he put his name on it. It was immediately elevated. That's not the case anymore. I don't see that changing. I don't see how you re-engage him into society. And I say that, literally, but also metaphorically. We're not used to seeing. We didn't see Bill Cosby. No. We saw R. Kelly. Mm-hmm. We didn't see Weinstein or Epstein. We saw it. When you see it, it's different. What's his name? Kramer and Seinfeld just wrote a book talking about when he was on stage and dropping N-bombs all over the place.
Funniest shit ever.
Right, but that ruined his career. He wrote.
You just saw it die right before your eyes.
Oh my God! Look at this dead body.
You're like, oh shit!
Look at this dead body.
I've never seen a dead body before. You could see him going off, and so he wrote. This book just came out, and that dude never came back.
Never.
We've never seen that dude. He just never came back. Why? This new thing with the thumbs up.
I don't dig it.
I don't dig it.
It's weird.
It's you can't redo it. You do, and then it just comes. I don't dig it.
I don't get it. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, we saw that. It's hard to re-enter society when you see it. I don't know what this. He was a pitch man in as part of his career. Mm-hmm. I don't know what he can pitch. He made music. He was a front man. I don't know what he can put his name on. What love album are people going to want to sink into? He put other artists on. Okay, well, he's had a predator relationship on the business side of music forever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Who's going to want to say that, yo, Diddy's got my back? Why is he in America? What business is he doing? I don't understand. I don't know how you bring him back in.
Should he go to Bali?
Or
with
one of the other non-countries that doesn't have extradition treaties to the United States. Yeah, he should.
Yeah.
What's the point? I know you got money saved. I know you got a bunch of Bitcoin. You know, Miami is tropical, but so is a lot of Bali's tropical too, man. You know, like, what are you doing? Why are you here? You know, like,
what about the kids?
Bring them.
Bring him. He might need to.
I mean, if I think about pop celebrities, Gary Glitter is a name that a lot of people don't remember, but that's the guy at the hey, and he had a horrible I don't want to say scandal because he did it. He went to get a computer fixed, and the people that fixed the computer found all this child pornography on it. He ended up leaving to Thailand, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, he went to prison for it's a
oh my God. Wait. I just caught that.
Yes.
All right.
Yep. You got it. Mm-hmm.
He doubled down, y'all.
Yeah, buddy. Yep. I do think a lot of these guys are over, but they seem never over at the height of their career. R. Kelly is over when nobody's really digging R. Kelly anymore to the same level they were digging the
Just
R.
because
Kelly.
we saw the tape, man.
The tape was popular when I was married the first time 20 years ago.
It came out right after the tape. Then I can tell you,
the tape
came out right after the tape.
Oh no! Oh, you're saying because he dropped a song? Okay,
right.
No,
the whole album, that Chocolate Factory, the Ignition album, the Chocolate Factory, and the next one were hot. Then he was in legal stuff. He had a gap for like 5 years. Then he came out with that Black and White album, which was amazing, but nobody cared. It was too late. He left while he was hot. That's how Mace screwed up. If he had just stayed putting music out, it would have been fine.
I mean, R. Kelly, I think Puffy was trying to go the R. Kelly route. Just drag the shit out for 5 years. Everyone will forget you.
He did. He dragged it out for 30 years. How long ago did he kill Tupac? That's what I mean. Like,
oh my God. Justin got Puffy for everything.
Everything. That mug, man, that mug
stole his backpack as a kid. Fucking
took his Lunchables.
Took his Lunchables.
Dude did not. Puppy did 9/11. It was him, Bilderberg Group, whatever Saudi Arabian sheik.
Dude, these guys. I don't know. I see what you're saying about his media influence. I still think Puffy of the 90s and early 2000s, Sean John in every department store, it might still be, but department stores aren't what they were, is a different character than this guy that can get busted now.
I'm sure, he almost got busted then. He shot that woman in the nightclub.
Yeah.
Had to pay his homie to go to jail.
Take a rap. Yeah.
That's what I believe now. I saw the video. Diddy did it all.
Diddy did it all.
He did it.
Why has J-Lo been so quiet then?
Because she was an accomplice in the 90s.
Ooh. She was in the nightclub.
She was at the nightclub.
There's rumors that she explained to Ben
all
the things that she's been through with Diddy, and now they're breaking up.
He was like, "You're too damaged." Now he said, "You're too damaged."
Now you're too damaged. She was doing freak offs too.
She was doing freak offs.
That's what the rumors are.
Word.
That's what the people are saying.
90s J-Lo.
90s J-Lo. Because of Diddy.
I believe 90s J-Lo was doing freak offs.
90s J-Lo.
That's the 90s, man. That's before everyone had a camera in their pocket.
Denim jumpsuit J-Lo.
Yeah.
Heels with the Tims.
Heels with the Tims, J-Lo.
That's my favorite J-Lo.
That's what I'm saying.
He called J-Lo at the right time. Not this faux I'm back in the Bronx J-Lo, whatever.
That shit is the funniest shit in the world to me.
I used to go to the bodega. Golly, these people. How hard is it to be authentic?
Oh,
is it that difficult to be a real person?
I want to ask you that, and this I know it's late. I know you have a lot to do. You are.
I'm good.
Are you okay? Because you're a mover and a fucking shaker, so I don't want to interrupt your moving shaking.
No, it's all good, man. This is great.
Authenticity.
I blocked out this morning, 5 minutes late, but I'm gonna make it.
I've been working on this piece on authenticity for 6 months. And it's taken me down a lot of rabbit holes. And when we think about authenticity, it's an interesting thing, right? Because we have this idea of, let's say, black music.
Okay.
What is black music? A lot of things that people call black music, not written by black people. Even the way they're directed to sing it is directed by non-black people. So what is quote unquote black music at that point, right? We have there was this rap group that if you've heard of them, then you really are, you know fucking everything about hip hop.
Okay.
They were called Silly Billy and Brains. Okay, so I feel good. I was like, because if you know this, I'm going to walk to LA and shake the shit out of you. Like, there's a documentary about them. They're from Glasgow, Scotland, and they were rapping in kind of their Glaswegian accents. Which, if you've ever been there, it's like, what did you just say? Right. And they were getting a bit of a buzz, and they were trying to get a deal. And this is in the era of Eminem's, I think, second or third records. They're doing that kind of Eminem thing. Okay. That same cadence and saying outlandish bullshit. And they're auditioning or showcasing for a label, and the label's laughing at them. And they stop. They're like, "Why are you laughing?" And they're like, "Because you're from Glasgow. No one's gonna take you seriously." Like, what? So they concoct a story, practice having American accents, and start performing as a different group. And they're Americans that got stuck in Scotland.
Okay.
They have the worst American accents ever. If you can imagine a British person trying to sound American, that is not a trained thespian.
Right.
And they say, we're from California. They found a city like Eddie Murphy with the Queens, right? They find a city that's way out in the outskirts of LA County. They say, well, this is the area we're from. They then get management, big time management in the UK. Management hooks them up with another showcase for Sony England, whatever, London, or whatever. And they're like, you guys are great. Where are you from again? They're like, oh, we're from California. They're like, why are you here? Oh, well, we were going to school. You know, we were born in California. We have family here. We came back and our visas they're like, your visas right? Oh, we just decided to stay. We're here now. They were on TRL UK. They opened for D12.
Wow.
Same guys. People dug it when they said they were something else. Who wants authenticity? Milli Vanilli did release a record singing. If you know the history of them, they actually had music recorded before they signed the deal with Frank Farian. That's why he wanted to deal with them. After the whole fiasco, they release a record. It only sells a few thousand copies. The label went under. Frank Farian tries to do it again with the original singers, and nobody buys it. I don't even think it charts. Who wants authenticity? What is authenticity when it comes to hip hop?
Not having 9 different accents. That's it. No, I think it's interesting points, right? It's what's the difference between evolution and authenticity? You know, I think it's where the music comes from within. You know, I think the energy that the energy that's part of the mission of the process. You know, like I used to have a real problem with the trap era in the 2000s, not because of the music, but because of the particular rappers who would say stuff like, "I'm not a rapper, I'm a trapper." It was almost like they were dissing rap and hip hop while they were making money off of it. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's authentic, you know, to a degree to where they're from, but I felt it disrespectful as someone who's a fan, follower, and participator, contributor, and birthed in the hip hop generation. I thought that shit was just disrespectful as fuck. Right? I didn't care if it's authentic or not. I don't care. That sounds terrible to me. Right? But you know, art is this is a performance art, right? Like, you know, I don't expect Eminem to talk in the voice that he raps it all the time. Like, he's just walking down like, oh, based on the voice, you know. But that's how he does it. You know, Be Real doesn't have that high. That's just how he does it, you know, and that's authentic to him. But you know, I think that the band that you described sounds like MF Doom. People turned him away when they didn't like their style. They didn't believe them. So they gave him something to believe in. And I think that's authentic.
Interesting. I mean, one of them ends up quitting. They're supposed to do a festival show. And this is before Google exists when these guys are out. And they went on TRL. And there's chat room. This is how old this is. There's chat rooms, not even social media, of people going, I know those guys. They're not from California. We went to school with them in Glasgow. I used to live down the street from so-and-so. And they end up quitting when one of them has a kid. And he just goes, you know, I can't keep this up. And they got kind of scared. They're like, eventually someone's going to find out about what we did.
Who wants authenticity? Oh, I get it. Yeah, eventually it catches up.
Right.
That's the downside of it.
Right.
But
it catches up. That's why you got to get out of the country, Diddy.
Go to Bali.
That's why you got to get out the country. That's what we're watching happen with Drake.
Embracing his
I think Diddy's authentically a gangster. You know what I mean? I think he's authentic from his environment. I think he's a psychopath. Nuts. But there is that what's he been saying? Can't stop, won't stop. He's been saying that his whole life. He's authentic.
He's authentically shitty.
I believe him. What was the name of his company? Bad Boy. Yeah.
Bad Boy.
Yes, he is.
Bad Boy for life.
Right. I mean, names have power. There's vibrations in what you brand yourself. You know what I mean? You know, like Death Row. Yeah.
That's authentic.
That's authentic.
Never heard good stories about Death Row.
OVO, October's very own. It's all about Drake. You know? You know, there's power in these phrases. There's words are spells. It transcends, language. Those guys in Scotland couldn't figure. People didn't believe them for who they were, so they gave them something to believe in. And in the end, they got scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got scared. They're like, oh God, I can't keep up this line. I just want to tell them I'm from Glasgow. Glasgow again, and have some French fries with mayonnaise, please.
I want you, dude. I hope you watch that documentary. It's like an hour and a half long. I found it on Amazon.
I'll check it out.
The rap group is called Silly Billy and Brains. I'm sure if you look it up, you can find. I forget what. Oh, the Hip Hop Hoax. It's called the Hip Hop Hoax.
Okay, yeah, I'll check that out.
And it's from like 2014. It was an interesting story to me because as I'm working on this thing about authenticity, I'm finding so much out about who sang what song. There's so many people that are not credited for things that they did. The way we look at producers, that don't. Rick Rubin comes to mind as these Svengalis, but in reality, they're kind of project managers. I had Tom Warman on the show, who worked in various levels of the industry, from A&R in the 60s to big time production in the 80s and 90s. He did all the hair metal stuff, like the big hair metal stuff, like all the Motley Crue stuff. And he did Second Poison record, which was huge, and Blue Oyster Cult, and he found Kiss and all this other shit. And when I asked him that, I was like, as a producer, like a project, he goes, yeah. Yeah. I'm not magic. I'm not that special. I don't know what everything on the board does.
Yo, can you give me 1 second? I gotta run to the restroom real quick.
Yeah. Of course. Toussaint. Authenticity. As someone that has as someone that no one knows your first name.
That's right.
How do you feel about these insults at Drake when it comes to authenticity?
I think they're true.
Okay.
Drake definitely has an authenticity problem. When you get down to it, it's like, what does he even really sound like? Does he have a Canadian accent? We think that's the right one, but like, does he?
Because he talks that fucking fam dem bullshit.
He probably doesn't. He sounds like in his interviews on like late night shows, he sounds like a nice young Canadian man. That's probably the authentic him.
Is that a problem though? Can he still do the same music?
In his music, he has a completely different accent. It is a problem because it's with that accent that he is using the N-word. And so without that accent, he probably would sound wrong using the N-word.
So who gets to use the N-word?
This is a question.
Apparently all of these Mexican rappers on that channel get to, because they say it more than me. And I have it on my sound drop. I say people get so mad at my N-word usage. You see the comments?
Mm-hmm.
And I understand I don't own the word.
But you're ADOS.
I have my moments.
Your ADOS moments.
Yeah. You island niggas is everywhere. And you and Pascal can't let me enjoy anything black.
We can't.
Anytime I'm trying to enjoy something black, you and Pascal go, well, Pete Rock is really Jamaican. Every time I'm like, that person is really this.
This conversation. I've been having a good time using nigga again.
Just remember, Justin, this is the show that has this on the soundboard.
Hey, right. I stopped saying nigga. I stopped saying nigga for about 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And because I didn't like the way whenever I would say it, non-black people would feel more comfortable sliding it in every now and again. Like white people, Asian people, whoever. As soon as I said it first, then that next Tupac song that came on, they were saying it, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't like that. So I just stopped saying it. And then I realized when I stopped saying it, I stopped hearing it around them. Like they wouldn't say it first, ever, if they never heard me say it. But then I also realized when I was around black people, they like we were around each other over a period of time, they would start saying it less and less. Like that word is powerful. It's contagious. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, oh, cool. So I stopped saying it for like 20 years. And then one day I looked up, I was like, I feel like saying nigga again. I understand the word. It's time to get that nigga back. Bring that nigga back.
you know who, yeah, like, if Justin would hang out with like me and Pascal and like Touré and Bert, them is the most nigga sayingest people. And they'll just have you saying it 5 seconds into a conversation. Smartest people I know. Most brilliant minds. Pascal will be, I'm sure he's yelling it right now on the screen.
Have you seen that video, that YouTube comedy clip? It's got to be like 15 years old now, where they're like the first person to ever say nigga.
No.
I'll find out. I'll put it in the private chat.
You got it. Yeah, please.
It's funny.
Because I'm trying to find some more of these. When I went on this page and found all these rappers, a lot of them are really young, right? And one thing that I find funny is they always act so stressed out. They're like 15 years old and they sit there and there's like in a car and they're talking about all the problems of the world. I'm like, dude, you're like 15. What fucking problems do you have? Shut up. Fuck yourself.
Oh my gosh, you sound like our parents. That's universal. That never changes.
I mean, really? You're not that stressed out. Okay. Justin, I have to ask you.
Yeah.
In our champagne room where we let the N-words fly, there's a whole other part of the soundboard for the champagne room.
Okay.
We watched a video of this young Black woman comment on a video of another young Black woman talking about the death of Black culture. I'm sure you've seen some of these horrible videos.
You know, I peruse.
I fucked around, and oh, did I find out.
Okay.
And they're blaming it all on the rise, and which I find odd, of the Sukianas and the Sexy Reds. Okay. And there is I'm sure.
Where's Sukiana from?
I don't know. Where's she from?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It sounds foreign.
Have you seen this movie?
Somebody in the chat, please Google where Sukiana is from, because as the Tariq Nasheed community might describe her, she could be a tether.
The Tariq Nasheed community. So mad at you for saying that.
Yeah, I fuck with Tariq Nasheed though. I'm not throwing shots. I fuck with Tariq Nasheed heavy. I'm actually in his new documentary, Microphone Check. It's on hip hop being Black culture, and it challenges the notion that it came from all these other places. It's actually really good.
Well, here you go. These people are saying that Black culture, i.e. hip hop, is dying because of this woman.
The shit don't need work. Let them nut all in my guts and then I go and pop my perk. Let them nut all in my mouth. I think I got some on my shirt. Kept my $50 and I went and blew it on some yurt.
That's a pretty good rhyme, actually. That's a pretty good rhyme. That's way better than Guap Homeboy. Guap Bugs. Bed Bug Guap is way better than that. If I had to do a poll right now on the 3 songs that you played from your favorite terrible music page, this would be the one.
Bed Bug Guap.
And I like her. I like the message in her music. You know?
That's right. So it's all about.
You know,
this is what I say about Sexy Red.
Pop some perks. You know, that's a good day for the page. You know, it's not a Drake song, to be honest. Drake could just rap that shit.
Drake, he's let him nut all in my guts.
It seems like some Drake shit.
Nut all in my guts. That's the AI Drake we need.
AI Drake. The guy's not all the way there. Might get the reference on whose guts and what. Not all the way there. But
when I said nut in my guts, it was metaphorical. It was
right.
It was where the man has been nutting in my guts for years. My thing about that music in general is Black music has been shocking for decades, coming on 100 years, no biggie. Go back and listen to some of that old blues stuff from the 30s. And when all you have is shock value and no real skill, you don't have a long shelf life. Because what can you say? She already said she was going to eat somebody's ass after having to piss and having shitty nachos. That's gross. And then she wanted to suck off Joe Biden. There's nothing more you can say after that. What are you going to do? Fuck a goat?
You can give that man a heart attack.
I don't trip off that shit that hard because it's just when all you have is shock value, you have a short shelf life. If you look at numbers, these people aren't that influential.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree 100%. There's always something that's shocking to the present population. Like, I mean, my pussy pink, my booty hole brown is the same song as my neck, my back, my pussy, and my crack. It's the same song.
It's the same song. It's the same song.
It's the same song.
And what happened to the pussy neck crack person?
She is talking. You mean Kaya? She was actually listed on BET's 50 best female rappers of all time list.
Wow, they were struggling for that list. Huh? Once they got past Latifah and Moni Love, they were like,
women rap. I mean, that's sad. It's true, but like you get really niche once you get to 36.
You said 36.
Once you get to 36, it gets pretty niche.
Once you get past Nikki D, you're like, fuck.
Right, because essentially women rap had a 10-year hiatus, like the 2000s. You don't get a new woman rapper, really. Like
they all went to R&B.
Until Nicki Minaj.
They all went to R&B. That was the feminine.
No,
go ahead.
I think a huge part of it was just consolidation in the space and the lack of budgets for people. Women rappers are more expensive, and so they weren't getting promoted at that level. There was still Jean Grey. There was still a bunch of women rappers rapping. They don't make it mainstream. So when you get to 36, now you're talking about some niche women rappers. That's where
people you've never heard of.
Right.
Foxy Joan. Foxy Joan? Who the fuck is that?
Right. You get the flyest rapper from your town.
Damn. She was the hardest person from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Right. Yo, Knoxville had a moment. They had a moment. You guys missed it. You don't know your history. Do your Googles.
You don't know your history.
Money Melanie. You don't remember Money Melanie?
Right. That's why we have people talk about thought rap all the time, right? They shit on thought rap all the time. They never get mad at fuckboy rap. Fuckboy rap is bad to me. Like if you're gonna base your life off of the gospel of Future, I'm not sure.
Is that the whole of Black America, right?
Right. Oh God, Drake is a fuckboy rapper. I don't mean this as a derogatory term, but like you listen to the stuff he's talking about. He's talking about, how he has money to buy BBLs and plastic surgery for women.
That's right.
So it's like it's not like nothing is this serious because these things don't scale for a long period of time.
Justin, I looked up because I wanted to know. Because I hate this idea. I watched me and Toussaint shit on these people for 2 hours for an 18-minute video. Because it's just underclass ideology is what they're talking about, right? And there's first of all, Sexy Red has like a song. Who's paying that much money to see her do an album's worth of The Color of Her Vagina and the diseases that come from it? Oof. No one's paying money to see that.
That's the easy part.
You're doing club gigs where you show up and do a song. You're doing radio festivals. You're doing the hip hop festivals. But you're not selling out big ass rooms because you don't have enough material.
She got a new mixtape just dropped, and Sexy We Trust.
Yeah, thanks.
The song with Drake.
And there is no correlation between social media and actual live music. Like who's actually going to see what?
Right.
What's the Lil Durk? Me and Toussaint, I was trying to figure out like who is the biggest trap rapper. So Toussaint goes, Lil Durk. So we looked up Lil Durk and I was like, let's
drill. He's drill.
Drill. I think I said trap. Sorry.
It's different.
Wow. I guess you're gonna get pedantic in this. Okay.
That's
fucking Hunt.
That's what the company man stands for.
Well, fair enough. You look, if you didn't do that, you wouldn't be doing your job. Right. Yeah. But we look up Lil Durk and it says he went platinum off streaming.
Yeah.
very different to me than selling records. There's a different relationship that the people that listen to you have when it's free, even if you've streamed that much.
Yeah.
And when he was supposed to do it a tour, and it got canceled from ticket sales.
Yeah, they overshot how cool they are, and that was something that was happening with a lot of artists in the space.
Lil Baby too.
Yeah, especially when you get to certain, I would describe as more niche kind of sounds. Like trap is big, but it's not big outside of the Southeast. The way it's nowhere like it is in the Southeast, right? So I saw Lil Baby in Bon Secours Arena in Greenville, South Carolina. It's got to be like 15,000 capacity, and he didn't sell it out, but it was full. You know what I mean? I think
Lil Baby packing A markets.
That's his base. Yeah. Greenville's a big city. I mean, it's a city. To me, it's one of the top 3 Southern cities, period. There's probably close to 1 million people in Greenville, South Carolina. So it wasn't, but that's only 90 minutes away, 2 hours away from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So that's his base. But like, whatchamacallit? New York Times did a heat map of where all artist streams are coming from across all genres.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to like Future, 21 Savage, those guys, it is pretty thin in the Ozarks. There's not a lot of streams are coming from Idaho, and they hadn't done the Tech Nine strategy, which was go to these little towns where nobody was and share their art with people who are happy to have something to go to build up those regions where they have gaps in their audience. But I look at it more so based on the quality of the artist more so than the particular style they're doing. Because drill is relatively new overall. And in this space, like Dirk, I think if Dirk puts out at least one more really well-received album, the next time he goes on tour, it's going to be a different thing. Because he's coming off this Kanye stuff. His profile is much higher than it was, I think, last year, the year before, whenever, or 2 years ago when I think that happened. And he is in different crossover spaces, like a few more crossover spaces than he was before. That makes a huge difference, But drill on its own it's almost like, this is going to sound disrespectful, and it's not really a great comparison, but it's like nerdcore on its own.
Interesting.
It's a sub-genre that really is attractive to a particular ear, particular mindset, a particular audience. Because drill to me is an offshoot of trap, right? And then trap is so 808 driven, and it's such a depressive sound. Ultimately, like the energy that a trap drum can give you, a trap music, it's reflective of all the lean and shit that people are doing, all the oxys and the perks. And these are just depressive type drugs. So it doesn't feel uplifting on its own in its own way in that regard. And so I think that is a problem certain artists have in certain styles of music, certain subgenres, when they try to go too big, too fast. It took T.I. a while to do something in a stadium, you know what I mean? But he's in stadiums now, or arenas now, and so, and he had to work with a lot of people to get there. He had to work with Rihanna. He had to work with,
But it should be a process to get to stadiums, right? No one goes to stadiums
100%.
overnight, right?
100%. The songs that got him there were not the ones not the urban legend I'm serious joints. You know what I mean? It was the paper trails that got him there. You have to step outside of that depressive sound, in my opinion. The only person I've really seen do it. The person I've seen do it the best is Future, and Future, like trap music doesn't win awards. Drill doesn't win awards. Like trap music's trapped in the trap, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's popular to a population, but it's not crossover music because it's so depressive. You could probably find a depressive version of any genre of music or depressive artist outside of, Nirvana era rock that probably has the same challenges.
I don't know. My Chemical Romance had a moment. That was pretty depressing. They're like the poster boys for, no one's taking me to prom. When I feel sad, when no one's taking me to prom.
Soundscapes depressive like that? I remember their music being like,
I'm Not Okay. That was their biggest hit. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
The whole record is pretty. It's pretty fucking depressing. It's dark, but not. Okay. I mean, it's juvenile and dark.
He's the future of them. Then he made it.
Well,
they made it. I remember my Chemical Romance, but
my main issue is streaming. The way we look at it, I think it's changed the way we kind of think about music. To your Dirk point, the year that he was supposed to do this tour, he streamed platinum. That's a lot, because I think it's about 1,500 streams to have one album sale.
Across how many songs though?
I guess it was over a record. What I saw was over a record.
It was probably one really big song that carried the weight of the rest of the song.
I don't doubt that. Look, I'm not doubting
That's really the difference.
Do you think there is a different relationship? Okay, and I'll put it this way: this is an anecdotal story I know. Living in the warehouse, I got to know this band called Machine Head, and they came out in 1994, and they were at the time the biggest Roadrunner release until Slipknot came out. They sold like 250,000 copies, and they were opening for Slayer. They come home from that tour, and management says, "All right, now you're going to headline those rooms because your record is hot. Here's Saxon's lighting rig and a bus you can't pay for. Go out and be a star, kid." There's a different relationship people have when you're buying a record compared to what you get for free. It's a very passive relationship, I think, with music, because there's stuff that has crazy streaming numbers and people don't sell tickets. They're in little ass rooms.
Would you rather sell an album or a t-shirt?
I'd rather sell. Am I live? I'm selling a t-shirt.
More money, right?
In 2024, as an independent person, yeah.
I mean, even in the 90s, the t-shirt cost more than a CD.
Yeah.
Which one's better marketing for your brand, right?
If somebody wears a t-shirt.
People walking around a t-shirt.
I also understand that there's a novelty to the purchase, even if it's my t-shirt.
There we go.
Right? Yeah.
So when I look at streaming numbers, because one thing with this Drake and Kendrick, I love this beef so much. I just like all the angles, right? And this Drake and Kendrick stuff is this. People are like, well, Drake is killing, over time. Like overall, Drake is the stream leader. He's got way more streams than Kendrick. He also has 257 more songs. 257 more songs. Right? There's a 20 million difference. There's 257 more songs. Right? So it's so skewed that streaming alone to me isn't the best indicator of who is viable, commercially viable in any market. Right? I understand the relationship is different between purchasing an album and renting a song. Right? I'm more interested in how many t-shirts these guys sell. That's
a hard stat to find.
For a good reason. For a very good reason.
That's a hard stat to find.
I mean, because we are in the era of we've been in the 360 deals for a long time era, right? So the labels are getting full compensation around these projects, or at least a piece of broader revenue overall. And whatever that transaction is the transaction. Now, whether or not we're basing how big someone is based off of the music they're releasing or the fuck shit they say on Instagram every day, they still have, at best, hopefully, an active and engaged audience. But we don't have superstars anymore.
No.
We have a bunch of people with a bunch of fans, and hopefully those fans are consolidated enough to pack an arena or a venue. You know, if you've got a million fans and they are in 167 countries, well, it's kind of hard to pack an arena if they're not in the same space. You don't have a base that you hold down. You don't have, you don't have pockets where you're most preferred. I know that Dirk canceled dates, but he didn't cancel the whole tour. Did I don't think he canceled the whole tour. He just
I believe more than half of it was canceled.
That's not the whole tour, right? I'm sure that his places where his base were still there, but his numbers indicated that he might be bigger because of his music.
Yeah.
And so they gave it a shot. Then they realized, yo, Dirk actually isn't that big in these number of markets. It's just that he is big online, or he's big, to his fans or his audience who have a very loud, engaged, active presence, or this or that. I just want to know how many t-shirts these mugs because that is a tangible thing that's cost more money, just like it always did in the 90s. To me, it's a closer thing, right? Like
I like the Tech-9 analogy that you've had about Tech-9 touring in B markets and doing stuff like playing with the Juggalos, who, Juggalos to me are kind of like the Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
They don't have hits, but they have a massive following.
Yeah, they're like No Effects. You know what I mean?
Oh, another great example. Yeah.
It's like, I think that's Tech-9. Tech-9 was in the Forbes list.
Really?
Most of the teams, he was in the Forbes Cash King. Now everybody's Tech-9, so everyone's followed his model now. That's how
I think he's got crazy. I've loved his flow, very original style. Comes from nowhere, right? Who the fuck comes from Kansas City? I've always dug Tech-9 and touring the way he's toured over the decades.
Right. Tech is great.
And that was hard for rap to do back in the day because rap couldn't tour the way rock toured for a long time.
Insurance
was always a problem.
Yeah.
Grand opening, grand closing.
Grand opening, grand closing.
If you don't have a story about seeing a shootout at a rap show or even at a rap show.
Right.
I don't think that's the case anymore. And back to the original point of this whole conversation, you can have a Kendrick Drake tour. I believe this in my soul. And it would be massive. Arena level. You won't have any fucking fighting problems. Nothing more than you have at any other show. You think he'd have fighting problems?
He's thinking about it.
I don't think it necessarily would be fist fights, but I think anywhere Drake goes got a lot of allegations. So there's that.
I'm just saying insurance won't be a bigger issue. Rolling Loud has showed us insurance ain't an issue.
Astroworld told us insurance is a problem.
This is true. R.I.P.
He was up on that. He was up on the crane. Oh man, they dying down there. Yo, man, stop dying at my show, yo. Nah, for real. Nah, it's not cool to die at my show. It's not a metaphor. Like they're really dying.
They're dying down there.
Man. I'm just gonna keep rapping though. Okay. Well, then about to get it. AT Jam, and then about to get it, boo.
Damn.
Go any direction.
As someone that spent a good portion of their life traveling and working at music festivals throughout this wonderful land we call America, and I worked at some of you people's festivals, they're pretty tame.
Yeah.
They're pretty tame.
Yeah, I think
they're too expensive for people. It's too expensive.
Yeah.
It's just too expensive.
I'm with
the most violent festival, a Stagecoach.
Oh yeah.
Stagecoach by far. By far.
Guns. Way too many guns. Everybody's strapped.
Way too far. Well, oh God. It's
guns and Bud Light.
You're gonna see fights at Stagecoach. Don't even worry about it.
My bad. Guns and Miller Lite.
I can't remember. There was no craft beer. The craft beer left when Stagecoach was there for whatever I forget who the beer sponsor was. That's what I did. I worked in food and beverage, but that was the only one that I could be like, well, I'm scared. I'm worried here at Stagecoach. Everything else is fine.
Yeah,
you're fine. I think Drake and Kendrick should go on tour, and I think it'll be massive.
So I don't understand this, like, everybody got to be friends thing, but that's why I like
They don't have to be friends. They don't have to be fucking friends. The whole tour could be them battling each other.
I don't even think we need to cross them styles, man.
Really?
I'm going tour with Post Malone, man. Kid Rock. Him and Kid Rock just go.
We can't afford rival tours. That's the thing. This antitrust lawsuit is sure
goes up every half decade anyway. You know what I mean? We don't need a whole. I don't. If it was a Kendrick Drake tour, I would just show up for Kendrick's part. I've been to maybe 3 or 4 Drake tours. I don't feel like going to a Drake show was special. That dude tours so much. It's not even an event.
Crazy numbers. I was looking up tour numbers too. He does ridiculous tour.
And I wonder why that's so crazy. Like, he tours in an odd fashion. Very odd fashion, the way he tours, actually. It's almost like he's contractually obligated based off of his direct relationship with Universal.
He probably is.
Or previously before. All the people he had to pay, he had to do it that much to actually make some money because of the layers of contracts that he was under. He's been one of the most owned, most corporate people for a very long time. I'm not saying his shows are bad. I'm saying his outfits suck. I don't want to see his wardrobe. It's like the event isn't an event.
You don't want to see that weird dinosaur hoodie he's wearing with a tail.
Drake shows is like going to a rap show, but just in a stadium and big lights. Do
you like stadium rap shows?
I like Kanye stadium rap shows.
Did you?
I like Kendrick stadium rap shows. I like, I would say I like Jay-Z. I think I just like Jay-Z songs and so much because he barely raps at his shows. He just holds up the microphone the whole time and looks cool.
Everything's a hit.
Yeah, it's everything.
2 hours of hits.
He doesn't know the words.
I like artists that put into some storytelling into their events. But I don't even know where the stage show is going to go. I just watched Billie Eilish pull a Kanye and have a listening party in a stadium. I think that's where things are going. I know a lot of independent artists talk to me about how it's tough for them to book dates in certain venues because podcasts are doing all the small venues now. Live podcasts are all over the place.
Hey, you leave me out of this, goddammit.
So,
live at the T Grand Ballroom, TIR.
I don't know. I feel like my Drake bias. I am biased against I'm biased against Drake because I'm biased against people who take that perspective on culture. So going to a Drake show, of course it's going to be big. He's a big artist.
What does that mean, Justin? I think that makes. Catherine Liu came on here over a year ago and said podcasters are the new rock stars.
Yeah.
And the Patreon model, as you probably know, started from, let's just be honest, a failed musician.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to get pitched Patreon all the time. Hey, do this thing called, because he's from the Bay. Do this thing, Patreon. It's going to be a way for you to make money when you're not touring. When I looked into it, I was like, it doesn't make sense because I can't create that level of content to compete with, let's say, the Foo Fighters want to have a Patreon. Would you rather see me dick around rehearsing or fucking Dave Grohl? Who gives a shit what band nobody is doing and giving away, quote unquote, for free or for Patreon people? And the work to produce that level of content, it's a lot. And then it just becomes content. It's just generic. And do I want to put just generic bullshit out there and say, oh, you get a song a month? I'm not going to release an album because I got to make you a song a month. Well, it didn't make sense to me from the music standpoint. Right. And for the podcast standpoint, it's a gold mine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, relatively speaking.
Relatively.
But you can add, oh, look, you want bonus shows that we're going to do? Or look, you're having fun with this show? Come behind a paywall on Patreon, and then you can get this part of the show.
Right.
You can't do that same thing with music.
You can hear us be racist.
Definitely. Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah. And really lean into the racism.
Yeah.
But again, back to the original point, the relationship you have with me is different when you've paid a couple bucks.
Yeah.
And the relationship people have, look, not a lot of rap artists are selling all that well. Rap packages do okay, certain ones. I think Tyler, the Creator, had one of his most successful, if not his most successful tour recently.
Mm-hmm.
The rap festivals do okay. Rolling Loud, they don't make that much money, to be honest with you. Not as much as people think.
Mm-hmm.
But that relationship is just so different when you're getting so much of it for free. You expect more from the show. And when you get there, you're like, oh, this show's trash. They're not even trying. They're rapping over the thing. All the things that older people were complaining about 20 years ago, they're not even rapping over the instrumentals. I'm hearing young people complain about it now, why they don't go to shows.
And COVID.
Oh, you're gonna blame COVID for this?
I actually do. I think COVID is a huge part of all people's going outside behavior now. Whether or not the individual feels is one way or the other is how the individual feels. But generally speaking, when people got used to not going outside and found all kinds of ways to entertain themselves, now there is a cheaper option to feel this similar fulfillment. And I think a lot of people are expressing that. That's why you've seen such a boom in content over the past 4 years. Now we're running into an attention recession. We're seeing that play out in Hollywood. We're seeing all these shows get canceled. All these experiments are going away. The podcast rush is a bubble now, in my opinion. Like if you're starting a new podcast, you've got a very uphill battle, in a way that wasn't necessarily the case before. It's kind of like how it was like that with blogs. At one point, everybody thought they were going to be the next Bill Simmons or Page 2 or whatever, and then all of a sudden you realize that no one is reading your shit.
That's right.
Somebody said, talk that COVID.
You get to that point where you realize, like, damn, I could go outside right now, but it's expensive. I got to deal with weather. Someone might cough on me. I gotta get home. Or I could go vibe out with my friends for 6-7 hours on a live stream, have Saucy deliver me my favorite bottle of Jameson, smoking my smoke, rolling up and blow one in the comfort of my home, and call whatever chick I want to kick it with to come slide through. Like, do you really need to go outside and worry about getting coughed on if you don't want to? I don't think that necessarily everyone is fearful of COVID, but people's patterns, their behaviors changed significantly.
Interesting.
So,
but certain festivals are still making ridiculous amounts of money, especially ones catered towards certain audiences that have money. There's one that happens in the beautiful state you live in of California called Bottle Rock in Napa. And it is, when I was still working festivals, people were trying to copy it because it's a quarter of the size of Coachella, but makes way more money per head, because that's how you do. At the end of the day, you want to know how much are we going to get per head of person that walks in the door. And you're also talking about slightly cheaper talent to book for Bottle Rock, because you can get a lot of these older groups. And food and beverage was double the price of any other major festival at something like Bottle Rock. Fire Festival was not an aberration, but to me, it was more of a test. And I think that's more of the future of the way people want live music to go. Live Nation might survive this antitrust suit. I hope they don't. But they might survive this antitrust suit. And live music is becoming a thing for a certain class of person, much like sports has become an event for a certain class of person.
Yeah, I mean, I was really encouraged when I went to a NoFX show in San Diego, and I like the way they did it. They found like some random lot that was big enough for their 12,000 people. They worked directly with the city for security and all that, and they kept 100% of the bar. They got all the liquor money.
That's where the money is.
Yeah, I love that.
For a NoFX show, and that's all cash too. Yeah,
all cash. You know, people will go out for things that they want to go out to. You know, but you know, I worked in festivals for a couple of years, and it felt like every festival was on the rise from 2008 to 2013, right? And then a lot of them started trying to expand to 2 and 3 days. And
that's where they got fucked.
That's when they got greedy. They got fucked doing that shit. So then so some of them either scaled back or they stopped or they kind of got quiet and things kind of got coalesced. And then you got the big brands. You got the festivals who got the big money, the big brands got big, really big, huge, and then everybody got COVID. and you know, there's a lot of, and you know, I think there's always going to be outliers in every industry. There is still some company that makes horse carriages. Somebody still makes if you need a horse carriage for your Central Park, or if you need it for, you know, the Kentucky Derby or some shit. I don't know where they have horse carriages. There is a company
where I live actually
makes them.
Yeah.
You know, there's always going to be some event or some festival or something that's going to be, you know, doing it better and bigger than everyone else, and probably inspire more innovation in that space. I just think that, you know, we're in a different. AI is here. I think people in general people evolve all the time, but I think that we are in an era where there are more opportunities to connect with people, feel connected with people without actually touching people physically, you know, without the dangers of getting mugged while you stumble drunk home from the bar.
That happened recently. There's a venue in Berkeley, California that has been around for years called the Gilman. It's where bands like Green Day got their start. Recently, apparently, there's been some assaults outside of the club. There has been a very large homeless encampment around the area. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I'm not trying to insinuate, but if you know anything about Gilman, I don't need you saying, well, you don't forget about the homeless encampment. Yeah, it's big and it's there. And they've had to hire security in a way they've never had to hire it before for this venue that's been kind of this community space for, like I said, for decades. I do think space in the United States is very different than space in other parts of the country. The fact that NoFX was able to get an open lot and it didn't cost them an arm and a leg for permit money, and they were able to get a liquor license for it, you know, kudos to them. That shit's a little harder than people think. I live here in Mexico. Some of the things that I'm able to see almost bring tears to my eyes when it comes to people just being able to have space and do stuff for free, because that's a scene incubator.
Okay.
And that's what I think we no longer have in the States, are like scene incubators. And there's a place out here, I'll say the name, it's called the Trauma Cafe in downtown Tijuana. And a filmmaker bought a movie theater, turned it into a cafe, shows movies usually for free. And then the back is an old amphitheater. And he just let the kids do what they want with it. So they have a skate park, they throw big ass shows, and it's all free.
Okay.
And it's young kids, you know, learning how to skate and trying to rock out.
Okay.
It's parents and even grandparents I've seen there. It's a really, really cool vibe, as you people say, that I haven't seen in the States, because those places get shut down. They have to exist in such secret that they're extremely dangerous, like the ghost ship in Oakland that caught on fire and killed, I think, like 39 people. You're in LA. Where can you have a space like that large, and then not charge young people so they can figure out how to play an instrument or just be in front of a crowd?
I think it's really how you work with the city. You know, like there's very few, but you know, there are representatives who will find ways to get grants and corporate sponsors to pay for stuff. It's not as easy as in other countries. I mean, that was one of the things that blew my mind when I first moved to Europe. I was like, yo, how do you guys put these shows on, man? These are crazy. Never heard of you guys. You guys are cool artists. The government. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
We like art over here. You know, like, okay. Yeah, well, we don't do that shit. We like, our art is ways to make money off of people, you know. It's more than that, but that's the culture.
There's no investment in the arts in the U.S.
Zero, no, but it makes sense. We're like a bank disguised as a country, you know. You know,
Excuse you, 4 banks disguised as a country.
Yeah, that's 4 banks disguised as a country. That's
trying to sneak in a movie theater.
Right. So I don't. If there's one particular place, I don't know, but I was amazed by like the Renaissance Fair. You know, they always find like these. It's expensive. Find like a Renaissance Fair location. You know, you might be able to catch a deal. You know,
yo.
You might be able to catch a deal.
What up, thine wonderful people?
Yeah, I have to get ready to run now. I've got to run to the studio and have a collab session.
See?
Yeah.
All right.
See?
Yeah. But hey, that was a whole hour ago. I had a whole extra hour.
Dude, I didn't think I was gonna have you for this long. That's what Diddy said.
Oh, wow.
No Diddy.
No Diddy.
Making Diddy jokes around me, man. Okay.
I'm not trying to get punched if I see you in LA.
I'll support that shit.
There was one question for you. Go. Please ask Justin between Kendrick's Euphoria and Lupe's Mural, which one is the most lyrical?
Yeah, this is so funny. Domino's Effects. I have a suspicion that Domino Effects is like 3 different people who comment on my videos, very consistent. Because it's always a very similar. It's 3 different names. It's always a brown color scheme, just like that. One of them is called Re-Up. If you re-up, let's piece to re-up. You know, I can't remember the other name. Now I'm seeing Domino, and it's always the most specific questions.
That's a very
comparing very specific artists all the time. And Lupe and Kendrick are 2 of my favorite artists of all time. You know, so it gets very difficult for me to draw certain nuances into the difference between the 2. The question was, which is more lyrical? Euphoria or Mural? I would have to say Mural is probably more, because I just listened to it the other day. One of the analysts in the audience, Re-Up, asked me that question. Exactly the same question as Domino Effects. But like, you know, he asked me that question, so I wouldn't listen to Mural again. And here's the difference, right? I think both of them are super layered. I think the entendres are crazy. All of them are just littered with crazy entendres. Mural's 9 minutes. It's 9 minutes long, so it's 3 minutes longer. That's a part of it. 2, there is like it's just an onslaught with no break. You know, no typical break in it, right? Euphoria starts out with like the slow part is singing, and then it switches up a few times, right? But the way like Mural is just so consistent and so in the lyricism without necessarily being directed at anyone and still being able to show a really big picture, I would say that Mural is more lyrical than Euphoria. But, you know, thank you for asking that question, Domino Effects / Re-Up, 8 different ways on.
There you go. And then Tucson, you want to ask the Dizzle McFizzle question?
This was re-asked by Kushlook, but it's the Dizzle McFizzle question. Justin, would you happen to know if the hoes are loyal or disloyal?
I think if we're calling them hoes, we have to assume they're disloyal.
And mind you, Justin, that question gets asked of professors, of scholarly academics,
right?
Yeah.
I think that if we're going to call them hoes, we have to assume that they're disloyal.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like in the definition of the word, right? You know, like now I would call women. I wouldn't call a loyal person a hoe at all. I wouldn't. That's not.
I guess it starts there.
Yeah.
Right.
I do want to accompany you to whatever barbershop you're going to, because you know, I want to have one of these conversations in a room full of people that I can relate to.
Yeah.
Black people.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear what these cats have to say if me and you are both in there saying some of this shit.
Yeah, man. I would love that. At least
I'm being serious, dude.
At least I get some backup.
Are you going to like Compton, or are you like in mid-city somewhere?
These guys, no, I go to it's on Melrose. It's in West Hollywood. You know?
No shit, and this motherfuckers was fucking you in WeHo?
Yeah, no. It's a diverse city. It's a very diverse city.
Well, hey,
these cats be in that mug, yo, man. I don't know. I don't care. I used to be like very reserved and conservative, saving my ideas and thoughts, you know, for whatever piece I was working on or something like that. Soaking in more information and disseminating and synthesizing it on my own, and then putting it out later in some sort of product or something, so my idea is clear. You know, being very particular about my word choice. I don't give a fuck no more. You know what I mean? I've definitely reached out. I don't give a fuck these niggas. I guess their opinion is whatever different. I am fine. You know, I just don't disrespect anybody. I don't make diss tracks. I ask questions for a living. I love it. I have a great time. And you know, just because someone's got a different idea, different opinion, different perspective, doesn't mean it's a threat to me, myself, my ego, my accomplishments, or my integrity, or my confidence. So I'm straight, man.
And now you know why we love Justin Hunt. I'm being fucking serious. I hella want to come with you to the barbershop.
Yo, man, next time you're up here, let's go. We go over there. We go.
You think I haven't been to a barber? Obviously, I haven't been to a barbershop in a minute. Yeah, let's do that. Justin, I love everything you do. I want you to keep doing it and being as successful as fucking possible. The world's a better place with you in it. Have a very good rest of your day.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Have a good one, Justin. Yeah. That was the Justin Hunt, the company man. It's all happening. It all happened. Happening. I have to take a break before I start my next show with Catherine Liu. How'd you like this show, Tucson?
This was a marathon, but it was all good stuff.
You were too quiet.
I was too quiet?
You hurt my feelings.
Oh.
I'm being serious. I'm mildly hurt.
Between you and my other boss, it's like I'm getting bad reviews this week.
Because I was just waiting for you to come in with Jason. In 2010, Drake said this. I was waiting for you. You didn't. You hurt me. You hurt me deep.
Sorry about that, sir. Next time Justin Hunt's on.
You know how hard it is to get Justin Hunt on the show?
He's a superstar.
He's a superstar. If you just know him from the internet, that's a part of who he is. He does all kinds of behind the scenes shit.
Does he?
Yeah. Producing stuff. Yeah. He went to LA for a reason, and he's making the most out of his LA time.
That's cool.
So I do enjoy the work he does, man, and getting to know him has been a bit of a fucking treat.
How did you meet this guy?
I reached out to him.
Did you?
When I had no followers. I had no followers. I don't think we've ever had a show under 2 hours.
Right.
When I was sneaking in the homeless shelter doing interviews, my first interview with Justin Hunt, it's audio only. I think it's episode like 50, 51. If you go back and look, TIR episode like 50, 51. We're talking rap shit for like 2 some hours. And then we talked for another hour and some change off air.
course.
Of course. You know. Dan Larson is like that too. Me and Dan Larson talked for like 6 hours.
6-hour tour. Did you see Sean Moon got my back?
What do you say?
Empty Sound, let the guests talk. Extremely professional.
Wow. Hey, Sean Moon, stop fucking doing that, okay? We're trying to scold her publicly, all right? We don't need you sticking up for her. No white knighting right now.
No white knighting. You should clarify your point about 2 shows today.
No, I am a guest on a show with Catherine Liu, and I'm saying that kind of loosely. She had approached me months ago about doing a project. So this is round 1 of a project that I get to do with Catherine. So I'm pretty stoked about it. They're talking about something very similar, which is why you've seen me write stuff down, and I had certain approaches to even to this show to talk about kind of the way we approach music and is that changing. And I wanted to hear Justin's take on it because he's literally in the business.
Right.
And like I said, in a lot of other aspects, I don't want to talk about his personal business on air, but
he's a ghostwriter for Drake.
There's a reason he's in certain circles, you know what I mean? And he's earned that. He's earned his way in there. He doesn't come from a showbiz family, so
he's like #1 guy right now. He's the one to beat.
He's got a good perspective on things. I don't think he produces mindless content. I think he literally talks about things that he wants to talk about. Mm-hmm. And that's the difference between you. That's kind of one of the big things I'm talking about with Catherine is, this difference between music and content. And that's why I didn't like the Patreon model, because I think that forces you into content mode.
Right.
And that forces you to start to try to be very unauthentic, because now you have to make your life seem interesting. I think live streaming hurt music to a certain degree because you're constantly using it to promote yourself in some way, shape, or form, letting people in to see the real you, to the point where can you do anything if you don't record it or photograph it? When I first started touring internationally, we were taking pictures of everything. It was like, look, we're at the venue. Look, we're on the road. Look, it's a fucking tree. Oh, wow, it's scenery. Oh, look, it's a person wearing our shirt. Oh, look, it's the opening band that we don't like. It's like everything was a photo. Everything was an opportunity. We thought we had to show these things. And then one year we looked at each other and we're like, we've seen every fucking thing. I just don't want to take a picture of anything anymore. I don't want to video our life anymore. And we just started living life and playing, and it was a lot more fun. But we never had a certain amount of social media engagement because we didn't think that, having a nice, honest conversation with someone in Parkersburg, West Virginia needed to be shown to the world.
Right.
So I think there's a problem with people that call themselves content producers, because you're just making up mindless bullshit to fill a voracious need. And I fight that, as you know.
Yeah.
It's one of the bigger fights that the committee, if you will, has with me. I think everyone, even Cuba, who's probably the most quiet person, has said, maybe you don't need to do so many shows. But, silly me and wanting these bills paid. And I just like hanging out with you guys.
Aww.
What is a show if Sean Moon doesn't chime in? What is a show if Kushlook isn't saying some insane shit? What is a show if Dizzle McFizzle isn't asking some respected person their opinion on whoredom, right? So that's what I have to say about that. But how'd you feel about the show as a whole?
It's awesome. In a way, it was like watching his Company Man show.
Good.
Getting his answers, you know.
You know, Justin says nice stuff about us on the, like, he retweeted our show once. He's like, this is the best black news show you can watch.
Did he? I gotta start asking that question. Did he? No, did he?
No, did he?
No, did he? No.
I wanted to play
Tell him
this for
no.
Justin so bad, and I didn't, but I am going to play it for you again
Oh,
and the
dear.
audience.
Oh, dear. Is it Guap
Because-
City?
Huh? Is it Guam Nini?
Proud favorite, Guap City.
I'm going to see my family when I get back from DC, and I have to stop. That's where I stop to get gas, is Guam Nini. So if I see that dude, I'm gonna shit. I'm gonna go so crazy if I see that dude. Like, dude, you're the Guap City man. What are you doing here?
Can I have your autograph? Can I take a picture with you?
And we're in the gas station. In the Twinning. And the Twicker's like, boo. This 11-year-old young lady, to this day, bars.
Hey, I'm about to wait. I'm about to wait. I'm about to catch another case on my mama's son. Can you and your brother come on, nigga? Let's go have some fun. Fa, nigga, don't you run. You was up on live talking shit, playing with them guns. Fa. Nigga, are you dumb? Bitch, you left your location on. We pulling up. Bow. That's that chopper sound. Bow. That's that chopper sound. Keep playing with me. I'm a fucking hoe and take her down. That's that coochie sound. Had to kick the.
They said, Good grief. Unbelievable.
The voice you hear is her mother.
Oh.
Does her mother have a song? Yup.
Oh, gosh.
Her mother tried to defend the daughter and herself. And in her defense, she said she was doing bad in school. And ever since she started rapping, she's made a complete 360.
Oh, it's one of those people. She's right back where she started.
So I responded because I thought it was so funny. I said, well, I think what she's trying to say is that she made a 180. Because if she made a 360, then she's right back to where she started. That comment got quite a few likes. So much, I'm glad you waited till Justin left for this one. greatest sight of all times.
Hilarious.
Guam City guy.
With the bed bugs.
Virtuoso says some people don't get your humor, Jason. Yeah, they're called my ex-wives.
Wow.
Virtuoso, there's a reason why I'm alone. But seriously, when you have the conversation about the degradation of the black community, and then I hear that song, I'm like, no, listen. Will that little girl grow out of that? I hope so. But again, I heard her mother's song. Oof. Oof. And we have to be honest about the fact that these people that, because they get popular for 5 seconds, are not that important in the grand scheme of things. Sukihana's not selling out arenas, neither is Sexy Red. They're not even in the top of the streamers. You know who's got more streams than Sukihana?
Just about anybody.
Coldplay.
Coldplay. It was all yellow.
It was all yellow. I did fuck up my. You want to hear something funny? Real story, and then we have to log off. Real story. I like some Coldplay songs.
Yeah.
I think Cold Rush of Blood to the Head. Mm-hmm. Decent little record for what it is. Go ahead.
They try to come back more hardcore every time, and they're still not hardcore. That's something that I love about Coldplay.
Right?
We're gonna make this next record hard.
Coldplay to me is the epitome of where music is today, and I think they nailed it. In whatever year that was, that album came out, like 2002. Cold Rush of Blood to the Head, 2003. Mm-hmm. It's the background sound to whatever it is you're doing. They make great background music. Well, those albums, once they were like the Apple thing where it was like on your phone or something or on your iPod, I was like, oh, I don't like this. But Cold Rush of Blood, Clocks. If you weren't trying to play Clocks on your guitar, I was like, oh man, it's such a good one.
That song makes me anxious.
Bad Lefty, Coldplay, a Rainy Day on Vinyl. True, right? And I hate rainy days. So I'm trying to talk to a woman. Try, operative word. I fail at this quite often. Brought up Coldplay. Oof.
Oof.
Oof. That was almost like letting him see the champagne room. It was like, man. Chris Martin, the walking embodiment of drizzle. God damn.
That's rough.
Yes.
Jamie likes him.
Fakey13 says, I've never attempted to play a Coldplay song, but I accidentally wrote an Arctic Monkeys one once.
How'd do that?
I remember there were some friends of ours, and we were really into Coldplay. Making guys that make heavy fucking music. That there was just something about that record. Yellow. I forget the name of the album before Cold Rush of Blood, but this one, the one that's got Yellow on it. And High Speed. I love that song. The last song. It's a great song. Coldplay is when you're like, I like OK Computer, but it's just too much. And then you put in Coldplay. And then you go put in Rainbows. And you have a great rainy day.
I'm trying to find the album name, but I can't.
I forget what it's called. It's
They've
it's
had
like one. It's like one word, right?
They've had a lot of albums.
Yeah. And you know what's weird? I don't like U2. Never got into U2.
I love U2.
I couldn't get it. But again, the same guys that liked Coldplay and shit. Like big U2. They have U2 fucking tattoos and shit. Couldn't get into it. Don't dig it. Don't hate them necessarily. Just don't really, it's not something I'd much rather hear the Smiths.
Parachutes.
That's what it's called, Parachutes?
That's what I think.
Bad Lefty says they hate you too. Joe Harold says I did like Coldplay. See, Joe Harold, thank you for being honest. Let's say something about TIR. TIR, we have no guilty pleasures here.
No.
I fucking like yacht rock, and fuck you if you don't. Take that. Steely Dan, awesome.
How is U2 any good? Please explain. You got to go back to Joshua, my friends.
When Radiohead is too spicy, you ask the server for some Coldplay. That's true, right? You go with your friends go, I know this great Mexican place. It's so authentic. And then you're like, oh man, this is really spicy. I think we need some Coldplay for this.
Guilty as charged.
That's Coldplay, dude. You're like, I don't really get the Dave Matthews Band, but this John Mayer guy is so easy to swallow. Take that any way you want.
No Diddy.
Dizzle said he wanted to hear the mom song. I'll look for the mom song. I'll look for the mom. I'll be brief because now time is ticking, and I want to be on time for this Catherine Lou thing because it's a radio thing.
It's a radio thing.
It's a radio thing.
That's awesome. You don't have to put on pants.
I have. You know that I always have pants on.
Always have pants on.
Always
Unless
have
you have shorts
pants.
on.
Oh no, this isn't her. This is the Cholo chick. Like, where they had the mom song on here. I can't find it. The mom song was like, oof. I will find it. We'll play it in the champagne room because I have a feeling that this video is going to be non-monetizable. And just my luck, it'll be the most popular thing we've done.
Probably.
Right now, the most popular video this month is me and Alex, the Come As You Are, neoliberal leftism. And the go fuck yourself comments on that video are hilarious. Hilarious. I gotta find the mom though. She's so bad. I will find it. Now I gotta find it. Dizzle, I'm so mad at you because you're making me look for it. Have you seen this other rapper, Toussaint? He's in a wheelchair. And he was on a dating show. And they said, what kind of woman are you looking for? And with a straight face, he goes, I'm just looking for somebody, that's going to hold me up. And the host can't keep a straight face.
You should have said, hold me down.
The host, you see his eyes get hella big, like, what?
We have a question for you.
I'm trying to find the mom.
Where can we hear this, Catherine?
I found it. I found the mom. I found the mom. Dizzle, if this video gets pulled down, we're going to need a super thanks. Okay. And I hope it doesn't get pulled down, and I hope it can be monetized. You know what? Oh, speaking of BBL Drizzy, we played 10 seconds of that song. That motherfucker gets all the money from the video.
Unreal.
And AI.
And AI.
Yeah, that's how I feel about AI. AI can totally go fuck itself. Here you go. This is the mom.
I want a new Bugatti. Said she wasn't going. I counted 7 bodies. All my niggas busting down. Diamonds look like Dennis Rodman. New whip every day. My garage look like it's rented prop.
What does that mean if your diamonds look like Dennis Rodman? Are they tall and black?
I don't know.
Are they goofy looking diamonds?
Like Dennis Rodman, she couldn't be bothered to get out of a chair for this video. That's what I'm noticing. 7 bodies.
I don't know. Here, let's see. Tell me what she's saying, because I don't understand what she's saying. I'm missing things.
Fuck a track hog. I want a new Bugatti. Said she wasn't going. I counted 7 bodies. All my
She wants a new Bugatti.
Said she wasn't going. I counted 7 bodies.
What does that mean?
I have no idea.
She killed 7 people or she fucked 7 people? I know that's the whole thing, like body count is how many people you fucked.
Right.
Which I don't dig.
I think she means she killed them.
She killed them. With her words or with an actual weapon?
With her rapper gun hands.
Oh, rapper guns killed them. Okay.
Rapper guns.
Got it. Got it.
My niggas busting down. Diamonds look like Dennis Rodman. New
Okay. Don't know what that means. What does that Dennis Rodman diamond thing mean?
Maybe they look like Dennis Rodman's diamonds.
Does Dennis Rodman have diamonds? Have you
I
seen
don't
that
know.
ashy dusty nigga before? That's an ashy dusty nigga. If that nigga had diamonds, that might take a little bit off the ashy dust off that nigga. But that's an ashy dusty nigga. That motherfucker lips look like one of them coon cartoons.
Oh man.
Ashy, dusty. Oof. He looked like one of them Pickaninny dolls.
Yeah.
So is that what you're trying to say? She got Pickaninny diamonds? Or does she, or is this such a deep metaphor? What she's saying is she has blood diamonds. Is that what she's saying?
It's a quadruple entendre. It means all of those things.
So just say my name with a question.
Jason.
Kushlik says Dennis Rodman is a hard no for me. I don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
whip every day. My garage look like it's rented prop.
Your garage looks like it's running crops? I don't. What's up with your garage?
Somebody wrote a paragraph in the comments.
You want to read it?
No.
It says, I think this might be her. I don't know. It says, you're all haters, literally brainless. You want to act grown, bullying an 11-year-old kid. A decent person wouldn't have even been nowhere near listening to her if they were real good people. You're all a joke and probably broke. Bars. To mom and BB girl, fuck the haters. Keep shining when you get where you want to be. In you ready to mold and shape the world, then do it through your talent. Let the haters be your boost. Be a brick standing in front of a metal bulletproof wall, bitch. Nothing gets through. Shine, BB. Shine. The day will come when you step over anyone that ever threw shade your way. I'm going to heart that.
Yeah.
Hunter says, who types like this?
For real.
Joey Nichols says, is growing weed in your garage supposed to be edgy? Dizzle says, that comment was so stupid I passed out from hearing. Oh my God, is there more? Somebody says she needs to be in school. Shit. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh man. That's
That is me. That is me every morning.
Mama, don't let your kids grow up to be rappers.
The mom had responded to somebody, and this is the mom's response. I am black. Her biological father is Mexican. My child used to fight because of being bullied and get in trouble a lot, extremely hot-headed, before I started allowing her to express herself through music. This has given her an outlet to express herself without actually getting in trouble. Her grades are amazing now, and her attitude has done a 360. Not to mention, her IQ is higher than most adults. So before you speak on parenting, this is what works for my child and keeps her on the right path. I chose to support her because this is what makes her happy and keeps her grounded. And it's really sad to say, but most of the negative things she has learned has been from other kids at school. Why is that sad to say? I'm fine with that. That was the mom.
All right, Mom.
Ooh.
Started out strong. Then it went sideways.
Dizzle said, does she use ChatGPT?
My.
I think it's fair to say if your 11-year-old is making that coochie sound, she might get it from her mama.
Good Lord.
My son's been asking me questions about music.
Has he?
Yes. I don't know if you heard him. I think before you got on, he was asking me questions about music. He's very inquisitive about my musical past.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dad
was the lead
singer of a band.
Daddy, you go all crazy when you do music. I'm like, yeah, so whatever. You got a problem with it? You want to fight? You want to fight kids? Is that what you want to do? But I would be hurt. I'd be a little sad if my kid was doing the coochie sound.
A little sad.
A little sad.
How do you even know what that sounds like?
Exactly. You're 11. That says a lot about
Yep.
I'm still trying to figure out the Dennis Rodman diamonds.
I have no idea what that meant.
One thing I'll say about the little girl, I understood what she was talking about.
Right.
Stupid ass left your location on. She's really after somebody in her little rhyme.
So like, her ops at school.
Her ops. Her mom was like, since she's been expressing herself. Woman's talking about committing a felony, a capital felony. You might want to fucking have her in some meditation classes. You might want to play her some Shanine Blake, aka the hippie white chick that we make fun of on the show.
Oh no. Her name is Shanine?
Of course her name is Shanine.
Jesus Christ.
What do you think her name is? Mary? No, it's Shanine. Can't play that on here because that video will definitely get taken out. Shanine Blake does not play with copyright.
Oh, well then.
And I would be so mad if all this great stuff we've been saying went to her because we played 5 seconds of that horrible song.
Horrible.
But I would feel less bad if that little girl I'm like, maybe she'll watch the show and think about some things. Okay. Someone
That's
says
the explanation.
okay, Rodman has multicolored hair. She has multicolored diamonds. She did not have multicolored diamonds. She didn't. She had solid colored diamonds. Would you like us to replay it?
Oh boy.
Because those are my favorite songs.
You playing with me, I'ma fucking hoe and take her down.
That's that coochie sound.
Had to kick the bitch out my house.
That's that coochie. How?
Yeah. When you were 11,
Mm-hmm.
was this the rap that you wrote?
It certainly is not.
Bad Lefty said multicolored diamonds. Your jeweler is ripping you off, fam.
That happens.
Oh my god. Kushlik says, Dusty, you may be right. Islam may be the way to heal a broken morality. Is that bad when your music is so bad? People are like, I might need to go to church and rethink some things.
Something.
Damn. But again, the daughter, I understand the daughter's rap. Would I have chimed in for the overdubs?
Yeah. Well, what's a rap without the overdubs?
I remember I was like 15 years old, and I had wrote a rap, and I was so proud of it. And my stepmom, may she rest in peace, wonderful woman, chastised me literally to the day, to the end of her life, off something I said. She goes, "What are you talking about twats for? You are a virgin. You don't know anything about a woman's anatomy. That's a horrible song, and you should rewrite it." Good woman.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. What's the girl's name? Did they say what her rapper name was? Maybe that little girl needs something like that to be like, do we really need the Bobby McFerrin? Do we need you to Bobby McFerrin the coochies? Or is that what hip hop needs more of?
That can't be what hip hop needs more of. It can't be it.
No.
MC Bad Grades.
We need more ham bone rappers that do that shit.
Need more ham bone.
We need more ham bone in general. More ham bone rappers. We're not against rap.
Or against those non-ham bone rappers.
Remember when Bone Thugs' welfare song was like the worst shit ever in hip hop?
Versus a month.
Yeah, Chris Rock said there's welfare carols. Remember when like that was it? Like, oh man, this is the degradation of society is the welfare carol. Boy, were we wrong.
Yep.
Bad Lefty said, nah, we against this. But do you remember that?
I do.
I remember hearing First of the Month and thinking, these niggas really did a welfare carol. Fuck. Now, even people that hated the song, back all the conscious dudes back then, with like the high top fade with one side with some twists in it, they will dance in the club if that comes on.
It's the first of the month.
See, David Epps, Bone Thugs is my jam.
It was a good song. Get up, get up. I was mad excited.
But you know what I mean? Like, dude, it's funny the way we look back at some of this music we used to like clown when we were younger. Oh, fuck that commercial bullshit. And then we'd love that commercial bullshit. Which again, why I'm so tripping off Questlove has so much vitriol at Kendrick and Drake.
Yeah.
I mean, they are your dream come true. They're real MCs. That was never going to happen. Remember that? Andy
Williams says, y'all still on? I went to the park with my son.
Yeah, well, maybe you should spend some more time with him, nigga. Maybe if you spent more than 45 minutes with that motherfucker, you wouldn't be making that coochie sound. God. We know why you had to go to the park with him. That call from school. Mr. William.
Mr. William.
Your son's been doing some Bobby McFerrin shit in the back of the class, saying it's the coochie sound. He's having one of them Furious Styles talk with his son at the park in New York on a Spike Lee dolly shot.
Somebody said Andy Williams' son is Adonis
from the Creed. Son, tell me what a man is. I put my thingy in her, and 9 months later, a baby come out. Oh, you think all it's take to be a man? Andy says with the jazz music playing. Someone says you need to change the intro of TIR to that's the coochies. Doesn't matter what I change that fucking intro to. People are always going to have some horrible shit to say about it. But you know what we say over here? Say fuck them.
Fuck them.
Fuck them. Fuck them. Oh yeah, David. This is remember all the Midwest rappers want to be cowboys. We're still going. Okay, I gotta go because I have to get ready to do this show, Catherine. Yes. Sorry. I would love to stick around for at least another 25 minutes and make jokes at that child's expense. But
Kushlik said that intro gave me autism. My God. Jesus. It really is all happening.
The best. I recut for shorts when we did the Dance Kids. Mm-hmm. And when that kid does the achy break, he's like, oh, he's doing that shit. Kushla goes, that's literally me when the TIR theme comes on. So, ever since he wrote that, every time the theme comes on, I just think, like, whoa. Oh, by the way, that dance video, still maybe one of the funniest things we've ever done. By far.
True.
Goddamn. That I thought that was funnier than Hatchet Man.
Say that again?
I thought that was funnier than Hatchet Man.
Hatchet. Yeah, it was.
God damn. The Dance moves. We named so many dance moves.
It was fun.
All right, I got to go pretend. This is gonna make me tear up. You guys made my Saturday afternoon less boring. I sincerely appreciate you fuckers. Oh man. Just remember that. I'm gonna be putting together a best of show while I'm gone in DC.
Yay!
Where I'm gonna like narrate it and then have clips. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to take the channel off the air. Toussaint was like, I'm not doing shit.
I didn't say it in those words.
No, you fucking Bobby McFerrin it to me. I said, Toussaint, can you host a show? And she said, you know what that sound is?
Nice.
That's the me not doing shit sound. Dusty, we're still trying to figure out the streaming. So give me a couple days for that because I'm not in DC. So there's some things I have to ask people there for to make sure that can happen the way we need it to happen. So we can do that. So thank you guys. And where do you see the video for Catherine Liu? I believe the website's on here. Bam! radio.montezpress.com. So MONTE3 PRESS.com. Radio.MON as in Nancy TE3 PRESS.com. That's where you can catch it in 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
A really big show. How you feeling?
Feeling good.
Okay. Should we leave with old school cartoons?
Yeah, it's Saturday.
Can we find the old school cartoons?
I always find them.
Oh, wow. You think you're better than me?
I didn't say it to say that.
I always find him, dirty son of a bitch. They changed the fucking format in this thing. I can't
find anything else but them. Is what I meant to say.
I can't remember there was a place we went before where we could go back to the old format. I don't see that screen. Do you see it?
Oh.
Found it. No, did I find it?
Look at you.
No, I didn't find it. I don't see it. Do you see it?
I'm trying to type in the next website.
See? You can't find it either? Okay, I guess we can't do old school cartoons because I can't find it. Oh, wait a minute. I found it.
Got it?
I think so. Yes.
It's the second one.
Is it the second one?
Yeah.
No, it's not the second one. Is it?
Yeah.
No.
That's the one I always go to.
Is it the second one? No, it's this one. Right? We'll find out.
All right.